Pero
Islam.
Peace and love, Morris. Peace and love in Islam.
Let me bring these other Moors in. Islam Moor.
Islam, Islam number.
Islam Moor.
I just chimed in. I just chimed in.
Right. Brother Melanet.
Islam Moors. I'm gonna start off with the holy prayer. So
Please do.
I'm gonna go ahead and start it off. Allah is the Father of the universe. Allah is the Father of
Allah.
love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is our God and our salvation by night and by day. Who is the illustrious holy prophet, noble Drew Ali.
Brother.
All right, now Islam Moors.
Islam.
I want to start off reading this. What
Mhm.
sovereignty is. All right, sovereign. A person, body, or state in which independent and supreme authority is vested, a chief ruler with supreme power, a king or other ruler with limited power. In English law, a gold coin or Great Britain of the value of a pound sterling. Sovereign immunity of state from liability exists when the state is engaged in a governmental function. Mayon versus State, 303 Michigan, 15 Northwest 2nd, 52, 527, Section 528. Then the meaning of sovereign people is the political body consisting of the entire number of citizens and qualified electors who, in their collective capacity, possess the powers of sovereignty and exercise them through their chosen representatives. See Scott versus Sanford, 19 Howe, 404 15 LED, page 69, 691. Sovereign people or sovereign prerogative, that power in a state to which none other is superior or equal, in which includes all the specific powers necessary to accomplish the legitimate ends and purposes of government. See Bergs versus Merce, Minnesota Code 14, California 309, Daltony versus Decker 58, Wisconsin 461 17, Northwest 389, 46. What do they say? 46 regular casualty and surety code versus Bramwell DC or 12 featuring the second page 307 of 309. Then they have the sovereign right, a right which the state alone or some of its governmental agencies can possess, and which it possesses in the character of a sovereign for the common benefit and to enable it to carry out its proper functions, distinguished from such proprietary rights as a state, like any private person may have in property or demands which it owns. See St. Paul versus Chicago, etc. Code 45 Minnesota 387. And then it says the sovereign states whose subjects or citizens are in the habit of obedience to them and which are not themselves subject to any other for paramount state in any respect. The state is said to be semi-sovereign only and not sovereign, which in any respect or respects it is liable to be controlled like certain of the other states in which India by a paramount government, e.g., by the British Empire. Brown. And the intercourse of nations. Certain states have a position of entire independence of others and can perform all those acts which is possible for any state to perform. In this particular sphere, these same states have also entire power of self-government, that is, of independence upon all other states as far as their own territory and citizens not living abroad are concerned. No foreign power or law can have control except by convention. This power of independent action in external and internal relations constitutes complete sovereignty. Wool's Pole Science, um, page 204. Then it has sovereignty, the last term, the supreme, absolute, and uncontrollable power by which any independent state is governed. Supreme political authority, paramount control of the constitution and frame of government and its administration. The self sufficient source of political power from which all specific political powers are derived. The international independence of a state combined with the right and power of regulating its internal affairs without foreign dictation. Also, a political society or state which is sovereign and independent. Chisholm versus Georgia, 2 Dallas 455, 1 L edition 440, Union Bank versus Hill. And then code, then have code 3 code, Tennessee 325, Moore versus Shaw, 17, California 21879, and AMDEC 123. State versus Dixon 66 Mount 76 213 page 227. The power to do everything in a state without accountability, to make laws, to execute and to apply them, to impose and collect taxes and levy contributions, to make war or peace, to form treaties or alliances, or of commerce with foreign nations, and the like. Story consistence of section 207. Sovereignty in government is that public authority which directs or orders what is to be done by each member associated in relation to the end of the association. It is the supreme power by which any citizen is governed and is the person or body or persons in the state to whom there is particularly no superior. The necessary existence of the state and that right and power which necessarily follow is sovereignty. By sovereignty, in the largest sense, is meant supreme, absolute, uncontrollable power, the absolute right to govern. The word which by itself comes nearest to being the definition of sovereignty is will or volation as applied to political affairs, City of Beasley versus Concise County. Okay, so that's the definition of sovereign and sovereignty. So where we get sovereign citizen, which is a compound word that these people just has put on Moors who belong to a nation. So
Now,
Right.
before we start jumping into all this, we have to like bring the people who may not be aware of what's going on into the fold of what's going on. Now, and before we even do that, we have to let our principles take place, which is the Prophet warns all Muslims to be read at every meeting. So before we even start this meeting, we have to let the Prophet's warning to the Muslims. We have to read that.
okay.
So we start, and then put a Moorish pen in that. Put a Moorish pen in the sovereign, and then the sovereign citizen debate. We're gonna Shematar.
Okay, Islam, more you already know.
No.
So Islam, as the master of ceremonies, I would like to begin this with the Prophet warns all Muslims to be read in every meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical speeches while at work, in their homes, or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And when these principles are violated, justice must take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet, or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card and button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out the divine plea to all Moorish Americans that, that they do their part in protecting their prophet in the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways. Peace. Noble Drew Ali. Islam Morris.
Islam.
Let's start.
Islam.
Let's start this brigade now. Now, before y'all going, I want to bless this whole meeting with like an ancient I would call DNA code, right? This
Yep.
DNA code is based upon healing, and being that it's a DNA code, you don't have to worry about any outer agents to give you the healing. So just look to yourself, and this inner glow is called the Hemanoab. Hemanoab sounds kind of like Moab, right?
Yep.
Well, this is Mayan language. And it says Hemanoab or healers can also be midwives, although not all of them are. According to Mayan beliefs, all of these healers know both good and evil spirits and all their secrets, right? We know about these secret keepers and these secret societies, right? So we talking about an ancient ancestral cognizance that understands and knows the secrets. Some have chosen to work with the good and heal the negative effects of evil. That's what we're doing right now, right? Others have chosen a darker path. It is this free choice that differentiates the healers from the witches and sorcerers, Islam healers, Islam scientists. So let's begin this meeting with that. So I'll open the floor up and let y'all more go in on what y'all feel just took place in the last, let's say, 48 hours.
Yeah, more. I wanna piggyback off what I just said about sovereignty too. I got another definition in Collins Dictionary of Law. Okay, it says right here, sovereignty in UK constitutional law, the doctrine that the monarch in parliament is competent to make or unmake any law whatsoever and cannot be challenged in any court. The doctrine developed historically, its first major enunciation being in the Bill of Rights. Possible limitations are the acts of union, the inability of parliament to bind its successors, territorial competence being a practical limitation rather than a legal one. By far the most significant restraint is found in the law of the European Union, which asserts its supremacy in the every expanding matter subjects to the treaties enforcement of an act of parliament. Okay, parliament has been enjoined on the basis of conflict with the European law. The creation of the devolved Scottish Parliament has brought about a conventional restraint of Parliament, exercising its powers on matters within the developed powers, and that's what it says. Is devolved under the developed powers. So they are using their ordinances and codes and certain things to dictate, like we've seen today, the so-called standoff. You see what I'm saying, Morris? So the standoff within that's supposed to have happened within these Moorish American nationals was all in lieu of act to further put fear in our people within that province. Because as we look on the news and how the fiasco had went down was because of Moors was just gassing up their vehicles. They wasn't harming anybody. What laws they broke and what injured party there is. That's the question. So within that realm, for people who's out here making fun of these Moors or laughing at these Moors, you're laughing at yourselves because they are demonstrating their constitutional rights, which is to the right to bear arms and to travel freely upon the highways. Now, as far as jurisdictional claims, okay, they already have violated with number one, you know, the policy of terrorism, which has been fabricated, and the slanderment of our own people using sovereign citizen when we already beat up SPLC on that issue, and their main guy that was running it was already affiliated with um, things that he had no business doing, like the KKK and other radicals. So, and then they are pushing civil rights, which is no good for our people. That's another legislation of colorable law, which is nothing but our ordinances and policies. So, if that is nothing but ordinances and policies that they are trying to legislate with our people, they are not holding up their end of the bargain to introduce our people to the real human rights. You see what I'm saying? Which afforded to them through a nationality. So why these people are still trying to play games with Moors that know these facts because they're trying to shun and adhere this movement that we are in, for our independence as far as being who we are. They still want to have legislation over us, which is no need to have that because we are free Moors. So within that realm, we have to make sure that everything that Moors are doing have to be out there and be specifically clear about what is really going on because in real hindsight, they are kidnapping those Moors. Okay? So that's what I'm gonna add right now, and I'm gonna yield the floor.
Islam Noble, thank you for that. And before we continue, I'm going to introduce the rest of the members of the panel. And so I'll start with the order of those who entered. So Al Basit Salam L, your mic is unmuted. You can introduce yourself and give a certain introduction to what you want to cover today.
Islam, my appellation is Al-Basit Salamel, and I want to cover today what has been occurring the last 40 days, last 40 hours now about the so-called standoff or the psychological warfare against conscious Moors and against unconscious Moors specifically. So I, I I've noticed this was a psyop from the jump. I noticed it, and I tried to do more studies, more research because I started a blog about decolonization and the Una Sanctum. So what's happening in these days is like it's not a shock. It's not no surprise because Brother Jamal Abdullah Bey went through this. They already kicked this door in back then, so it was obviously a psyop to deter us from our nationality and birthrights by the controlled opposition. So that's what I got to say for now. Islam.
Islam Noble. So I'm mute your mic, and then I'm taking I'm taking in all types of notes from what y'all are saying, so we could bring these points up later in the debate or the so-called the Moors standing for the rise of the Moors, right? So I got a whole plethora and I have a whole load of Moorish information that supports our brother. And on that note, I bring in the last member of the chat, Islam, to Jawan Mutakaber Bey. Oh wait, it says the guest chose to mute themselves. So More, you can unmute yourself if you're ready. Islam to Jawan Mutakaber Bey.
Islam Morris. Can y'all hear me? Islam.
Loud and clear, more Islam.
All right, Islam. Yeah, first and foremost, I want to give thanks to you for the platform and allowing the Moors to get together and dialogue and build.
Oh wait, it says the guest chose to mute themselves. So More, you can unmute yourself if you're ready. That must be
Islam. Can you hear me?
I can hear you more, but is somebody listening to the live at the same time?
Yeah, first and foremost, I want to give thanks to you. It's like an echo, but yeah, this is Juwan Mutakaber Bey. I didn't want to say too much. I was just want to build with the Moors. Yeah. All right. So I just want. Yeah, it's crazy.
Is somebody listening to the live? Yeah, somebody must be listening to the live.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't want to say too much. All right, I'm good.
Islam. So if y'all got the YouTube playing from an outer source, cut that one off and just come fully into the chat. So it'll cancel that echo. But I want to let that more finish what he was saying if he come back in. So Islam no. But while we wait for that more to come back in, I'm gonna share my screen because man, I have a plethora of things for you guys today to I guess to run through. So let me share my screen real fast. And there we go. Now we'll bring this more back in. So let me go to this. Islam Moore, y'all there? Hold on, wait. Let me take y'all. Let me take everybody off mute.
Islam Moore, I'm here.
Y'all there?
Islam Moore.
Yeah.
No, I'm there. Yeah, no.
So we go back to this. Pay no attention to the robot dancing on the right side. We're going to deal with what this whole, because we never really even touched on what we're talking about right now, right? So if y'all more has got about 2 minutes, just give 2 minutes to let these Europeans cover what's happening and why we're even doing this. So you already see the lag. YouTube is ready. They already know what this is. No, they already know, bro. Because like, well, it's taking time for no reason. Let me hit the load on them. Because this is crazy. Like,
it looked like it's trying to come in. There you go.
Right. Boom. I can hear it.
Yeah.
Commercial law. Anybody learn commercial law? All right, here we go.
All right, some tense moments in Massachusetts this morning. We're going to start with that. A group of heavily armed men were just arrested a short time ago after a standoff with police that shut down part of America's busiest highway, I-95. Lucas Tomlinson is covering the story for us from our D.C. bureau. Hey, Lucas.
Hi, Jackie. Massachusetts State Police say 11 suspects, some of them armed, are now in custody after an hours-long standoff that closed I-95 outside Boston in both directions on a busy July 4th holiday weekend. Police say I-95 is now reopened. This all started early this morning around 1:30 a.m. when a group of heavily armed men dressed in military-style tactical uniforms were spotted by police in two cars that had pulled over on I-95. 2 men were arrested early this morning, 9 others hours later. Some of them fled into the woods armed with rifles and body cameras. The shelter-in-place order has now been lifted for the residents of Wakefield, Massachusetts, where this took place, in nearby Reading. The suspects were detained by a special tactical operations team. This is the situation was described when the officers approached the vehicles early this morning.
Further inquiry was conducted with the individuals that had been stopped in the breakdown lane. At some point during this interaction, a number of those individuals alight into the wood line with their firearms.
Police said the armed men yelled out that they, quote, do not recognize our laws. Police say the leader of the group wanted to be known they are not an anti-government group. It's still not clear what motivated this group of armed men to make this trip. The group claimed to have been going from Rhode Island to Maine for, quote, training. The group had allegedly been posting YouTube videos from I-95 this morning. The 11 men will be in court Tuesday. They face firearms under charges. A press conference and other ones currently ongoing. And we'll provide another update as the document is out. Jackie.
All right, Lucas, thank you for that report.
Islam Morris. Now, like, where do we want to start? The subjugations are already at point. The subjugations are already at play. So before we start this move, like, you know, let me tap back in. How do y'all more feel about what they just said?
Oh, that's all propaganda, more like the main
Politics.
thing. Yeah, the whole thing is just like Moore said earlier, psychological warfare against Moors. You know what I mean? And like I said before, what party or body they injure. So really, they are really going against their oaths that they took to the Constitution, and you know they're really trying to save their own ass and kidnap these Moors too. They really, because see, they have their so-called holiday weekend, right? They know magistrates is not going to be able to see these Moors until the holidays is up. So that'll probably be like Tuesday, you know what I mean, or something like that. So in actuality, they had all these representatives already down there for these Moors. So we have to look at that too more. And I yield the flow with that.
Islam, I like to real quick. Just what's on, man. That keep in mind what day today is. So you know, the fix is already in as far as it goes to this so-called holy day. We're not Christians more. We understand what the dogmatism is behind the Christianity. Did they practice called religion. You understand? So at the end of the day, when this thing plays back to us and the journalist is speaking in the color form that he is, we see what this is. So what do we have before us? We have he's speaking upon men traveling. You know, he never even spoke upon what they were doing.
Right.
What was their meaning behind why they were going to where they were going?
Right.
Because at the end of the day, when we untie all of this, no laws were broken. So what is the problem?
Right.
And when we fully unpack it, you're going to see the sort of how they subjugate for certain people to be able to do certain things, and then there's certain groups against the certain people that have the right to do the things they want to do. It's all going to come out. But I yield the floor, Morris. Y'all could go on what we just listened to.
Right. Well, yeah, just like you were saying, more. I'm gonna piggyback off of that. These people, right, and you know, they know what they're doing as far as jurisdiction um violations, and what I say about kidnapping is because Moors are not stooped with their own jails and stuff yet to initiate um kidnapping people, or forcing people to come in on laws that we know are true and correct, but we're not the ones that's doing that. They are enforcing policies, ordinances, which supposed to be having that in line with their constitutional principles, and they're not doing that. They are slandering these Moors, and they're trying to put provisions over their rights. Okay, really subjugating them. So if anybody, as far as Moors and pertaining to our status and pertaining to our nationality and pertaining to our birthrights and unalienable rights, you need to take this real seriously and look at it from this perspective, as far as they did not bodily harm or injure or attack anyone. They would stop pouring gas in their conveyances, their conveyance or vehicles or automobile, okay, and they was interrupted by a policy enforcer, i.e., highwaymen. Okay, so within that detailing and that particular point, our people need to be real concerned. You know what I mean? Because okay, yeah, once they identified themselves with the Moroccan flag and told them who they were, okay, then why was they detained? And they shut down this Moore's social media. Okay, so we got to take that too into consideration. All right, because when I checked his social media earlier, you know, his social media was interrupted. So why are they doing this to this Moore? These are the questions you ask yourself. You know what I mean? Don't believe the narrative of what this propaganda that they spew on Moors that haven't even committed no crimes. So that's why I'm trying to get people to focus on what's really going on here. Then we have our own insubordination as far as our own Moors people that's calling him a sovereign citizen, which we already in spanked Europeans. You see what I'm saying? For even slandering Moors in that aspect. So why are Moors using these terms? So we have to look into things and check ourselves if we're not stooped or studied within our own Moorish affairs. So if you're not aware of certain things, you shouldn't speak on certain things because that only creates a stigma or a narrative that you don't have anything or any input in. All you have is your perspective, which is an opinion probably on your outside looking in. So more's got to really be vital in the decision making about how they handle certain things. So I yield the floor with that.
Islam, opposite Salome L. Like more before you go in, because I know you got some stuff you want to say. I'm gonna let the more your one topic they going, but this is the crazy part. I already know it's like an echo on his part, so I wanted to let our words finish before he started, so it wouldn't be no echo on his side. Oh, Islam, more. Hold on. I muted real quick because after all the stuff go through, I'm gonna let him talk. But moment of silence real quick.
Morris.
I muted real quick.
Islam, no.
After all the stuff goes through, I'm gonna let him talk.
Appreciate the platform, Kasir, Raja. I appreciate the Morris building. As far as this topic, I just want to bring of are we following the Prophet's movement? That's pretty much where we have to go with this. I understand we can use the law and say that he was in the right with the right to bear arms and things like we setting for the ones that's coming behind us. So we have to be more precise in our movement and more subtle in our movement, so we can have a a greater effect collectively. Because even if what they were doing was successful, we're still a group of Moors as opposed to a nation, and we're about nation building. So I mean, I'm not trying to bash the brothers for the situation, but I would just ask if we all would think clearly before we start having our movement. And with that, I yield the floor. Islam. Because even what they were doing
Islam, it's crazy that you got I already know you got points you want to make, and they want to sit up here and play and play around, bro. It's crazy. Like, it's the stuff we gotta deal with. But as far as I think I want to go back into sharing the screen so we can get into the the precipice of this. So wait, I share the screen. Go back to the so-called order of the day. So y'all can see that, right? Hold on, wait. Let me unmute y'all.
Yeah, no, but we can see it.
All right, cool. I have to break this down real quick because if you watch every newscast, right, when they speak about our brother, they keep saying it was a standoff with the police, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is called a Mexican standoff, right?
Right.
Why is this not consistent? This picture, right? Why is this image not consistent with what happened on I-95 mile mark 57.4? Why is it? Why is this not what happened on I-95?
Right. Because that's something that they just made up. You know what I mean? Like they got to have a reason to arrest and detain.
They want, when they say standoff more, the point, when we look up the etymology of standoff, we already did. So because we
Yeah.
have, I don't want to be on here all night, but
Right.
we've already looked up a standoff or whatever, and it means stalemate. It means draw and tie.
Right.
So this version of a stalemate is what they tried to, is where everybody thinks what a stalemate is. This is where different parties are opposing each other with said firearms, like ready to shoot. And at the end of the day, if anybody takes a move forward, it's all hell breaks loose. But that's not what took place on I-95.
Right.
We have to bring that into the forefront, because a lot of people are talking and making, they want to make stuff, make sense with everything. But at the end of the day, we see that the so-called journalists, being the newscasters, they're spinning a different story of what really happened. Because and that's the reason why they took down the Moore's YouTube in his videos, where he discussed, and he said out of his own mouth that we're not sovereign citizens, we're not black identity extremists. We don't come we come in peace. We're not trying to start any confrontation. We're just traveling point A to B to get to our private owned land, right? To train. So is it this thing in this land that we place our feet upon that is actually our ancestral land, that a dark skinned person, which all of us on the line and panel and chat right now have affiliation of, so-called colored, so-called black, so-called Negro, right? We're not allowed to have our rights recognized, that we could travel with arms, not firearms, but arms. So we're not allowed. If you understand what's going on, Jamal Bey, he is the Moorish militia, right? So if you read the Second Amendment and you even go into the subjugated versions these people are trying to interpret it as, which is, oh well, individuals can't carry arms. That was stipulated for the militias. So if he's our militia, why is he not allowed to travel to private lands to train?
It's all.
Hold on, let me, I yield the floor more. I want to hear what y'all got to say about that.
Yeah. Well, I already know more, like, as far as how they propagate stuff, and how they make things up. You know what I mean? So they have to have some type of way to con the public that these Moors broke some type of laws to justify their actions. Okay, so that's the whole point within the inclusion. So if our Moors don't understand what's really going on, then they need to go and study some more. Okay, because this right here is a serious issue for all Moors alike. Like you said, you dark tone, you know what I mean? And you are practicing love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, but these policy enforcers and people already was like, they already knew that y'all was doing these certain things, so they had the district attorney already present to make a comment. So like I said before, like, we got to really look at these certain things that's really going on, and they really don't have like a district attorney coming and making statements right off the rip on certain things. You know what I mean? Like, they really pulled out the red carpet, for these Moors, you know, and really kidnapped them and justified the means. And then when the news reporters was asking them important questions, the I think it was the chief of police put his head down, and he couldn't even relay or even answer the question. So what's really going on. That's the point in fact, because just that question alone that was asked on the video, which was on national um television, okay, he didn't even make a comment or statement on that. So he gave some, oh, it's still on an investigation type answer. So we already know, like, these people are blatantly trying to play us right in front of our own faces, and then our own people are doing it right in the same.
right in the same.
So I yield the floor with
So
that,
I
Mo.
yield the floor with that.
Islam more. So
Islam more. So
you got to see over there.
you got to see over there.
Or matter of fact,
Or matter of fact,
where you at?
where you at?
Where are you?
Where are you?
Where I am, I'm in the psych ward. Islam Nova.
Islam more. And
Islam
what
more.
what's so-called territory?
So-called territory near the province of Zealand. Near. No, near the corporate Netherlands.
So it's kind of funny that you're near Netherlands, but you're still tapped into the Moorish science and the things that are happening on the mainland. This is to show the people that are of ignorance that Moorish nationality started before the Moorish Science Temple. Noble Drew Ali didn't begin the Moors. He returned a mindset. You do not have to be part of the church and all this stuff and the so-called the religion of Moors, but to have a Moorish mindset is our goal. You don't have to be a Moor, is what we're saying. To have a Moorish mindset, what do I mean by that? You know that this is your land and you didn't come from no Africa. I don't know how Moors got twisted into Pan Africanism. That's a subjugation. So anybody saying or banging on Moors that are pushing Pan Africanism, Islam, those are not our Moors. Our Moors understand that this is our land. This America is our land. We don't connect back to Al Kebulan. We connect back to the Americanos, the Almarak, the Republique, Societas Americanos. You know, that that's what we do. So regardless of what these temples, which should have been disregarded after the prophet transitioned, regardless of what they do, regardless of what these package sellers do, specifically these Moors that align themselves with the Council of Court, there's no such thing as a Council of Court. This whole thing is an attack on the Great Seal division. So, just to put those things in perspective, I'll yield the floor and I'll open the floor up to the panel and let y'all go in. Islam.
Oh.
Yeah, Islam more. Absolutely. Like, the whole thing is like it's just a setup from the beginning. And now that Moors are coming in to their own, they need to hurry up and try to keep the movement stagnant. You know what I mean? The same thing when the prophet was walking around. So that's why our people have to really understand what's really at stake here. And that is for us to necessarily be astute within this more science and know what really going on within law and what's really, our political standpoint and what is nationality and what is in detailed in. You know what I mean? Because we're not pushing this on you just to be pushing you into something. We want you to go study it and go look it up for yourself and decide for yourself. Because there's nothing about Moors trying to get you to be controlled. We're trying to get you to control yourself. So the world can be a better place within yourself. And then when it be a better place within yourself, then the outer will take effect. So, but as far as us getting ourselves together and stop the foolishness that's going on within our own territories, within our own neighborhoods and stuff like that, no, we rather, incinerate, with nothing but bull crap. You see what I'm saying? And keep bull crap going, keep drama going. For what? What is going to get you? Where it's going to land you at? So that's why I have to be real astute about where I'm coming from as far as being a Moorish national, a Moorish American national. So we, as a nation of people, okay, already know that certain individuals in our nation be doing certain things that they don't need to be doing. But at the same time, I mean, this man was exercising his rights. Like I said before, where's the injured party? Okay, where's the people that he's supposed to have terrorized, and where's the people that they wasted taxpayers' money, people who pay taxes, what I mean, and block this session for hours at a time. You know what I mean? So that's what they're doing with y'all tax earned money. So you people gotta understand this is really, really, really ridiculous in the whole aspect of, you know, stopping people from, exercising their rights. That's how I'm looking at it more. Islam. Now you're the floor.
No.
So Islam Morris, I'll return to the share screen so we can start sort of the presentation. So we already know this is this is what you call a Mexican standoff. Why we make this present is to show that when the so-called news journalists and different propaganda sites of fake news media that you see, when they say words like, oh, the Moors had a standoff with the police, understand that this so-called standoff, this is a standoff, right? What you're looking at is a standoff. Opposing parties standing against each other with firearms drawn, meaning the arms are prepared to shoot. Firearm is different than the arm. An arm is not prepared to shoot. It's just there for protection in case it needs to be ready to shoot. A firearm is an arm that has already been engaged in the form or the act of discharge. You understand? Mm-hmm. So what we're looking at right now is if anybody move 1 inch, this thing will go to hell. That did not happen, right? On the I-95 mile 57.4 marker, because our brother abruptly made it known to the policy enforcers, we are not coming in the form of a disruption. We come in peace, love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Okay, right? He also was stating the travel right, USC, where we have the peaceful travel. You guys recognize this, so this shouldn't be a problem. Second Amendment, he is our militia. So if they want to make the argument that Second Amendment is only for militia, he formed our militia. So let our militia travel to where they gotta go, right?
Right.
Let them travel with the so-called the petrol that they needed, because this is the level of tactic that's part of the training, to travel without having to stop.
Let that be recognized. Why do they subjugate it? Why do they stop all these people from getting to work? Morris, if you understand that it gets deep with this so-called de facto Democrat cabal.
Right.
They are trying to take away the Second Amendment from our nation, so nobody could carry a arm to protect their family because they'll tie it into post 9/11 things. Now, I'll open the chat up and let y'all go in, but I'll continue into the presentation. So Islam Morris,
Islam.
speak on that. I'm gonna go to the next slide.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all good?
Yeah, we're good.
All right, so let me start this whole shindig off because I know how y'all feel. It's weird, right? It don't make sense. Why do they keep calling us sovereign citizens? We gotta go here, right? Now
Right.
it's odd. There are two groups that I have studied that are really, really banging on this whole sovereign citizen movement thing. It's the ADL, which is the Anti-Defamation League, so-called Jews who push so-called anti-Semitic rhetoric. If you do anything that even remotely resembles something that's against a religious-based ideology, no hate is exactly what it is.
It's an ideology. It's not nothing based in factual evidence because they are not those people. They are
Fair
claiming.
use, more fair use, right?
Yep.
We got fair use to speak. This is not no hate or no. We're just speaking exactly what the fact is. Fair use, right? Ain't
Right.
that the USC that they deal with to speak on things? They might be a little bit touchy, but so you don't get your video taken down. Fair use. But keep on, keep going, more.
Yeah, but as far as we got to look at it as what these people are doing, as far as trying to say, black people are pseudo, and and they base it on terminology that's not true and basis and not in fact, right? But at the same time, what I mean, they are hypocrites because their whole ideology is not based on nothing that's really factual. Okay, it's really all based in something that was written in history that they controlled. Okay, so we're gonna put that out there too, because the people need to understand. Okay, everything that's being controlled and everything that's being ushered in is ran by these people. So if you don't get it, then you won't understand the subjugation part. Okay, so if I'm controlling everything as far as so-called government, right, and acting upon another nationality to run government within another person's, well, in another people's domain or dominion, okay, I have to go into claiming that these people are incompetent and not stoop in law and don't know how to run their own affairs. Okay, so within that, we have to look at what this thing is really detailing in as far as the factual claims that Moors have. So if you can stop the so-called president of the United States, see what I'm saying, Donald Trump, from expressing his free rights of speech, then what you think they're gonna try to do to Moors? People got to look. Yeah.
Islam. And when we bring up this whole the other group that I didn't mention was the SPLC, aka the Southern Poverty Law Institute. So these people and all these groups, you see the 6 groups I have listed in front of y'all, right?
Yeah.
These 6 groups, which is actually controlled by 6 men alone, actually control everything you see, everything you perceive as far as shows, anything you perceive as movies, magazine, newspapers, right? Any literature, right? That you interpret. These people control 90% of it, right? Now, understand the whole 5%ers. Noble Drew Ali told us that if we control the literature for our people, you can change the minds. I believe that has been failed, and now the medias of the six that you see, 666, right? That you see, they control our people's ideology and in our eyes. Now, before y'all go in, let's look at the goddamn signs. Sorry, but let's look at the signs we're looking at. We got Comcast. Morris, what do y'all see? See, no pun intended. What do y'all see?
The 6 corporations that collectively control U.S. media today are
Comcast. Comcast symbol, more specifically, Comcast symbol. What is in that symbol?
That looked like a that symbol itself looked like a crescent C or how?
Hey, crescent moon, right?
Yeah, crescent
moon.
Crescent
Star?
moon, yeah.
The star is the C star, aka C star, Morris.
Yeah.
So the mother is in the womb of the mother, right?
Right.
Okay, why they know about that? This grid is based off the coordinates of our Earth, right?
Yeah.
Couple different number signs all conjoined, right? The 4 numbers, aka the 4 quadrants, this represents our Earth. Look next to that Disney. More. What do y'all see?
The eye
Look
of
at it. Look at the design.
The eye of Heru.
Ooh. More. The eye of Heru. Only when you tap into Heru as the Peru deity, right? Quetzalcoatl, that's a serpent eye.
Yeah.
Right? See the line in the middle, or a cat eye.
Yep.
Deal with the panther of the South American, right? We go next. We got the V. This can mean victory, or this can mean 5. Or
yep.
5.
5 principles.
Yep.
5 titles.
Yep.
5 parts of the law. Right? Look at Time Warner. Another eye, right?
Another eye.
But this eye is entrapped into the cycle.
Yeah.
You see that?
In the spiral.
A 9.
Hey,
I see a 9.
Get it, more, right?
Yep.
Now look at the last one. What you got?
Another eye.
Another eye. So you got 3 eyes based upon the 5 principles that control the Earth, based upon the mother principle of the crescent moon.
The subjugation of the mother.
Y'all. We might be getting too metaphysical on these people. My fault. You know how the Moors get all metaphysical on them.
Oh yeah.
More, look up here at 2012. I'm gonna blow y'all mind again. Right? Look at 2012. Oh, let me get out of that, whatever that is. Look at this. You see that symbol in between? You see the symbol?
Yeah.
What's that?
That's the 8. That's the 8. The 8.
6-point star, more.
Yeah.
6 point.
The 6-point star. Yeah.
A triangle, right? Yeah. And another triangle. So as above, so below, 2 triangles. This makes the so-called Yehudi connection.
Right.
The Alpha Omega.
Which they call it Jew. You know what I mean? That is
right.
Contemporary.
Who do the so-called people that own all these corporations call themselves when it comes to so-called religion, so-called nationality, so-called ideology?
Oh, you talking about Jews?
That's Canadian.
Hey, right? So ain't they symbol the 6-pointed star? As it's secretly the cosmic symbol as above, so below.
Right.
6 giants, right? Giants, media giants. What are we talking about? So understand that they got the 90%, the 6, the as above, so below, right? Above, below, the female, the male, 9, 6. But we can go all day on the codes of this, but to bring our people into what we're speaking of, this is who controls everything y'all look at. And just based upon what we broke down, you know that they understand codes and how to show you images that mean deeper than you view it when you see it on a commercial or a show or a damn movie or a damn music video.
Yeah,
or
subliminal.
sports commentary or a sports game.
Yeah, subliminal messages more.
Is one. You good, more?
Yeah.
Good.
All right. So look, Morris, y'all see this right here? Let's look at what. Okay, wait. Let me hit them. So when we deal with the sovereign citizen movement, which they kept referring to my brother or as in certain news
Outlets.
feeds. Oh
Mhm.
yeah, what was the name of the so-called policy enforcer that stopped this man or that commentated on the so-called kidnapping? His surname was Mason.
Yeah, Mason. That's what it was.
Word. Yeah.
More is getting
Wow.
too metaphysical on them. More, you see, we going too deep. We making it we're making that something, right? What they call that semantics, and y'all don't even know what semantics mean. You have to know the power in words. The fact that these people play with sorcery that we taught them to hide and code things into your visage in numerology and in different ways to spell it to you, so you don't even understand what you're looking at.
Mm-hmm. But
So
your
the
subconscious
Mason
will.
spoke upon our brothers' endeavors, but sovereign citizen movement, we go in. The sovereign citizen movement is loosely an organized collection of groups, and it's from the ADL. My fault. It's from the ADL website, Anti-Defamation League. This is controlled by the so-called Jews we was just talking about. The sovereign citizen movement is a loosely organized collection of groups and individuals who have adopted a right-wing anarchist ideology. So anti-government, right? But even though it's under the cloak of republicanism, right? But it's anti-government. That don't make sense.
Right.
Originated in the theories, so it's no truth, theories of a group called the Posse Comitatus in the late or in the 1970s. So, Moors, we have to understand what the original Posse Comitatus was before we understand what the Posse Comitatus Act was.
Right.
So you see
Right.
paper. In this little part right here, with to end this, sovereign citizens wage war against the government and other forms of authority using paper terrorism, harassment, and intimidation tactics, and occasionally resorting to violence. What the hell is paper terrorism? Paper
And what?
terrorism.
And occasionally resorting to violence. Like, what's really going on? But listen to this more. What the more was talking about earlier about the 7 ABC news outlet and what they said. They said 11 arrested from armed group of men claiming not to recognize laws after standoff. The men are claiming to be from a group that does not recognize our laws, police in Wakefield said. Now, this is what the policy enforcers said to the news outlet. So they engage these Moors and already know the Constitution because they took oaths to it. So you're trying to tell me that these people didn't already know what they was inciting? Now 11 now the men are claiming to be from a group that does not recognize our laws, police in Wakefield said Saturday, July 3rd, 2021, 3:42 p.m. 11 people were arrested after a standoff with a heavily armed group. Wakefield, Massachusetts police arrested 11 from an armed group of men claiming to not recognize our laws after a standoff with policies enforcers in Massachusetts that shut down a major highway during the busy holiday weekend and performed shelter in place orders. The bizarre incident played out Saturday morning after a state trooper saw a group of 8 to 10 men in military style uniforms refueling their vehicle on the side of I-95 around 1:30 a.m. in Wakefield, about 10 miles north of Boston. Recent stories. And then it said the men who claimed tactical gear like body cameras and helmets and head-long guns slung over their shoulders told the trooper they were on their way to Maine from Rhode Island for training. During the traffic stop, 2 arrests were made. The rest of the group identified themselves as Moorish American, arms, fled into a wooded area. 9 were detained by 10:45 a.m. local time and 2 more suspects were found in their vehicles. All 11 suspects are expected to appear in district court Tuesday morning. Suffolk County District Attorney Marion Ryan said as a press briefing Saturday. Ryan said the individuals, all men, will appear on firearm and other charges. Now see they gotta try to charge these Moors with their incompetent things that they did today, because they already know who these Moors were. They already been um know these Moors, as far as policy enforcers kicked in his domicile. So these officers, right, that's already telling the ABC news station, what I mean, the group, the men are claiming to be from a group that does not recognize our policies. See what I'm saying? And their laws. See what I'm saying? So why they saying they don't recognize their laws and policies? What that got to do with the Constitution, which you took an oath to? See what I'm saying? What is y'all laws and policy? Let's talk about that.
Well, it seems like it's a thing when so-called Moors, or truthful Moors, when we want to proclaim our self determination, everybody wants to have these problems and provisions. But we're just, even if we're protecting ourselves, right? Everybody wants to have a problem just on the stereotype of what it means to have darker skin. But we're supposed to be equal in this land, right? If y'all look at the picture y'all see before y'all see that picture?
Our screens came back to the regular screen more.
Yes.
You don't see the picture in front of y'all?
No.
All right, now hold on.
Oh yeah.
Let me do this. Share my screen again, so we can go into this ordeal. Y'all see it now?
Yeah. Hey,
so
okay.
Yeah.
This picture, right, is dealing with the so-called posse comitatus. Why don't you see any men who resemble Moors of today, aka the darker hue individual? You don't see any Moors in there, right?
Nope.
So for them to call Moors a sovereign citizen group, when sovereign citizens originated from posse comitatus, and then look at this, Moors. Watch this. United States didn't have any problem with sovereign citizens of original, right? They created them.
Right.
The posse comitatus, from the Latin for power of the county.
Right.
In common law, we love common law, right? Is a group of people mobilized by the conservator of peace, typically a sheriff, a sharif, to suppress the lawfulness or defend the county, right?
Right.
The posse comitatus originated in 9th century England, simultaneous with the creation of the office of the sharif. This is the Moors prescribing them a way to have security, because English had no security before this.
Right.
Though generally obsolete, right, throughout the world, right, no security, it remains theoretically and sometimes practically part, I would say, impartial of the United States legal system. We're talking about posse comitatus as part of the United States legal system, but they want to be against the sovereign citizen. What's wrong? What happened? And then look, Morris, if you look in the corner, look at what year these American posses were formed.
In 1922.
Huh? The Prophet?
Yep.
So the Prophet, these people were arranged to go catch slave catchers. You see these two dudes in the back with no hats on?
Yep.
Indentured slaves. They were enslaved, right? But you see their condition. Why
Mhm.
don't they look like Negroes?
Because Negroes wasn't enslaved, and
Exact. More get it in.
yeah, they
Get it
weren't
in.
they weren't enslaved in so-called Negroes. Those people there were the Negroes, and people just really need to face the facts or go into research and pull it out for yourself and recognize for yourself. Because once you
Trading
understand,
places.
yeah, once you understand how things was already predicated once they came into their nation, and for us to recognize them as one, and that's how they formed their navy. So people got to really understand what's what really went on in history, or well, in our story, really, and
More.
stop.
How come you got the largest manhunt in the history of the Southwest, but they don't include this in the antebellum history?
Oh, because that's something that
Prince
they
Hall Masons.
yeah, that's something that they don't want our people to get a hold of. They don't want to really, put stuff like that out there. But
Hmm. So when they covered a manhunt, when the posse comitatus that worked for the United States was chasing criminals, they don't call that a slave hunt,
no, they just call it, they chasing the
a
criminals.
manhunt.
They call it the manhunt, and they're chasing criminals. That's what they say.
Right. But so when they deal with so-called dark-skinned people who so-called were criminals, they turn them into Slavic people from a whole nother nation.
Mm,
Subjugation.
right,
Mhm.
Darn people. They keep lying, and then we come through with the Shemitars for this.
right.
So Islam or Albert, you got anything to add real quick?
Yeah, I got something to add. I want to reiterate something from the Muslim Mexicans and others.
Wow.
Page 6, the Niceno Demo Policy Update. True world history is important component of a good Christian education, as it refers much to the trained eye, as well as enlighten those less subject to naive thinking. Much we learn in spite of deliberated deletions, eliminations, alterations made through the Index Liberarum Prohibitorum and Index Expurgatorius. It must be remembered that a colonist is always a colonist, and that generation of descendants do not, and cannot change the descent nature of a man. Modern Europeans are still modern Europeans, and the colonist motive is to steal and to subjugate. The Judas demo modern Europeans' political policies, actions, and attitudes reflects the same. We will now take the time to exhibit an impacting excerpt from the updated addendum to the Christian Black Codes of 724 AD in harmony with the conquest mission of the Roman forefathers. The UDS demo on the Europeans initiated an updated contemporary crusade military plan. This conquest subjugation maintenance strategy was officially classified as top secret. It is It is code named Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars. Introductory Programming Manual Operations Search Technical Manual TM SW 7905.1 Executive Order Number 11490. The King Alfred Plan. It was with heavy redaction, deletion, and missing pages released on the Freedom Information Act as an unpretentious document of crusade intent and an update of the UDS demo of the European World Conquest Plan. It is definitely definitively a refinement of the Christian Black Coast of 720 AD. I stop right there.
Damn, boy.
Islam, or
He get Islam, or see, just Islam. If y'all got these groups, if with y'all families or y'all outer families that y'all found out here, be it Indians
Mm-hmm.
or whoever, if y'all dark skinned, this is how y'all supposed to do knowledge. Have Moors from different parts of the world that come into the same understanding that y'all do for the betterment and upliftment of our people on this land right here that's ours based upon our ancestral ties. So what I'm looking at right now is posse comitatus etymology, and I want to jump to right here where it says while the original meaning refers to a group of citizens assembled by the authorities to deal with an emergency, right, by the authorities, such as suppressing a riot or pursuing felons. So the original sense of this uh, sovereign citizen was a slave catcher, if you would,
Hmm.
right? Right. Somebody that goes and pursues felons, right?
Yeah.
The term is also used for any force or band, right? We got
Right.
bands. The Indians had bands, so-called Cherokee bands. We understand, especially with hostile intent, often also figuratively or humorously. Why is it funny? Because they wanted to play circuses to cover up the real stuff we was doing when we was catching these people. They wanted to play around in our land. It's not a circus. It's real. If you want to believe the circus, you're going to be misled. But if you want to believe the reality of our people, you might want to hit up the American Indian Council, right?
Right.
Or you might want to deal with some Moors, right? Not temple Moors, but Moors like us that understand the difference between the subjugation and the reality. So the term is also used for any force or band, especially with hostile intent, often also figuratively and humorously. In 19th century usage, posse comitatus also acquired the generalized or figurative meaning. In classical Latin, posse is a contraction of posse, potesse, right? Potesse, an irregular Latin verb meaning to be able, right? To be, right? Able to be, right? Potesse. Prophet told us to be. Potesse, right? The unusual genitive in us or us, poseteus, right, is feature of the fourth declension. In its early days, the posse comitatus was subordinate to king, country, and local authority. Us having treaties don't have to be subordinate to their king. We had our own emperor, and we weren't. Not all of us are under subordination of him. So what's this declension? Just get that cleared up. Is the set of patterns according to which Latin words are declined. So the downfall, right? The fourth downfall, Morris.
Right.
So there was already downfalls happening in the early 19th century when we were speaking Latin, which is why you want five. And there are five declinations, which are I can't even. What? Wait. Let me get that real quick. Fourth declension. I wanted to see how many declensions there was because that might be something else. But no, we'll keep going. Islam words. Y'all get going.
Yeah. Yeah. More. See, and not just what you just had said, but as far as you know what we are really have the point in what we're trying to drive home here. You see what I'm saying? As far as the real sovereign citizens, you know what I mean? Like they want to project what they started onto us so they can make it like we are some type of radicals that doesn't obey the laws and stuff like that. But I'm going to clarify it and I'm going to make this real clear. We do adhere to the constitutional laws and treaties. Okay. So, and we do live in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. So, those are our divine principles that we subscribe to, that we live by. So within that, you know what I mean, as far as being a more, sovereign citizen does not fit the profile. Okay, because that is an oxymoron for their first start and their history as far as being, their own sovereign nation, which was recognized by Morocco. Okay, so I'm gonna yield the floor with that more, and I'm gonna let the other more get some in if he need to. Islam.
You got something?
My bad, no go.
Oh, go ahead, more.
Oh, you go first. I'm listening. And
All right. Like,
process the information.
basically, more if I go in for like a good like 15, 20 minutes, I can open the floor up because I could cover like a lot of what we wanted to pull into the play of what just went down in front of people, right?
Yellow journalism.
Right. My thing is trying to tie people that what they seen was not actually against the nation or against the so-called United States, if you want to call that a nation, depending on your ideology, right? It wasn't against it. There was no laws broken. And I want to show y'all that the United States actually has acts and statutes that recognizes the disbandment of the federal government and institution of posse comitatus. So if the original posse comitatus is where the sovereign citizens derived their ideology from, then it started out as a thing that the United States ordained to help them in justice. So I read this: the Posse Comitatus Act is a United States federal law. Why is it a United States federal law if the Posse Comitatus is supposed to be the original origin of sovereign citizens? So the United States did the United States federal government, so-called, right, create sovereign citizens? If this is what we're going to prove first, so we can let it be known how they're subjugating and spinning the story. If they created the term in the existence of something that could be a sovereign citizen, then they're playing their own ideology in front of y'all and twisting it because it's not posse comitatus or sovereign citizens in front of you, but Moors.
Right.
So it says signed June 18th, 1878, by President Ruther B. Hayes, which limits the powers of the federal government in the use of federal military personnel to enforce domestic policies within the United States. You mean to tell me they have a so-called act that limits their powers, and it's based on the year that they made Morocco a kingdom?
Yep.
Somebody explain this to me.
But that's the problem, more. Nobody, Mason, will explain that to you.
Yeah, more you want to know? Let's spin them. Let's spin them on another goose chase. Do you people who believe in the United States as a government? Do you know what your government exists as today? It's not called United States. They are doing business as the Homeland Security.
Yeah.
The Department of Homeland Security. I'm gonna show you. United States Department of Homeland Security, right? How do we know this is your government right now? Right here. The executive department, is that not the president more?
Right. The United States Federal Executive Department. departments are the principal units.
So it began in the operations right down here of 2002. We know that's the year after so-called, formed as a result of the Homeland Security Act, enacted the previous year in response to the 9/11 attacks. So the Homeland Security Act is tied into the Patriot Act, and that's your new so-called government and law. No more so-called United States Corporation is the Homeland Security. But that's for other, since we want to deal with all of this, you know, supposedly people doing things unlawfully and what do we have rights to and what not. Y'all might want to realize the corporation is running this so-called thing opposed to who you thought it was.
Right. And
Post 9/11.
I want to add this too more. They released this on the news that the Democrats are being charged with setting up a phony election through through what's her name, Stacey Abrams. So you know that's I just want to make things clear, like what is really going on here. You know more because our people don't really get what's really going on and what is being taking place. You see, just like we was looking at the thing about Morocco and where the Moorish Science Temple is in Washington D.C. is now, and the same thing they're using these so-called Moors to run on you know Masons that's displaying to be Moors. You see what I'm saying? Which we know they're Moors by nationality, but we know that their intentions are not pure and that Moors will never run on a de facto democratic platform. So while these things are taking place simultaneously, I mean. So we know we got to look at those things too more. You know what I mean? I'm just pointing those things at, but you can go ahead and continue more.
Well, so we got this whole Department of Homeland Security. So I pulled up the Department of Justice's website, the Patriot Act, the first provision, which says the Patriot Act allows investigators, right? Questioning, you don't have to answer questions, Fifth Amendment, but when they put 14th Amendment in, here comes investigators, to use the tools that were already available to investigate organized crime and drug trafficking. Many of the tools of the Act provide to law enforcement to fight terrorism. Wait. What the hell does drug trafficking and organized crime have to do with terrorism? I don't understand. Right? But have been used to for decades to fight organized crime and drug dealers and have been reviewed and approved by the courts as Senator Blanky Blank. Just read it, guys. Senator Joe Blow, right? Explained during the floor debate about the act. Now, this is the thing that y'all Moors got to understand. They took a so-called international law about fighting terrorism from abroad, specifying Muslim or Muslim countries, right?
Right.
They made it into a domestic thing to where they can arrest drug dealers. Now, watch Moors. When I pull this one up, you're going to understand exactly how this all ties into each other. Now watch this. Because if y'all haven't understand what has happened lately, you might be missing out. Now understand this. All of our people, our men, most through the past 20 years, have been arrested based upon drug charges. Right?
Right.
Look at this. Acknowledging this is the Congress, right? This is the Joe Biden and them Congress.
Right.
When we're dealing with this is 2019. So it was in Trump's time. But what the Congress was letting be known under Trump. Watch, acknowledging that the war on drugs has been a failed policy in achieving the goal of reducing drug use, and for the House of Representatives to apologize to the individuals and communities who were victimized by this policy. So no changing over the laws or the unlawful arrest, just apologize. So we're going to skip. I want to show y'all something that's very, very, very interesting about this. I think it's this part right here. The war on drugs is a racial. So watch this. Be it resolved. No, I gotta go back where it actually says. This thing blew my mind when I read it. Is it in this part right here? Where is it at? But basically, in this part that I'm looking for, they confirmed that the subjugation of dark-skinned people on this land was coded into the war on drugs. And for the fact that they couldn't actually come out and say that that's what it was, they coded it as the war on drugs, when it was really the war on dark-skinned people.
Right.
Oh, here it is. I think here it is. Whereas the war on drugs was admitted to be a move by the Nixon administration to attack his political opponent. And in 1994, President Richard Nixon's aide, John Ehrlichman, right, admitted to an interview that the war on drugs was a tool to arrest and manipulate blacks, and liberals stating, we knew we couldn't make it illegal to be either against the war on black, but by getting the public to associate the hippies with marijuana and blacks with heroin. Oh, come on, y'all. I'm getting tired right now. And then criminalizing both heavily, we could disrupt both communities. We could arrest their leaders, raid their homes, break up their meetings, and vilify them night after night on the. Ain't that torture? Ain't that terrorism?
That's psychological terrorism.
Right.
And warfare.
So they're allowed to do it, but when you're dark skinned or have swarthy hue or your color, you're allowed to do it, I guess. So okay, we vilified them night after night on the evening news. Did we know we were lying about the drugs? Of course we did. What? And these people got a nerve to just apologize to you. What about the reversing of the laws that still stipulate dark-skinned people to go to jail for crack cocaine and opioids, but not get treatments, to not go to healing clinics like Europeans get? Let's read this part more. Whereas 1986, the year before my birth, a lot of y'all was born in 1986. The 99th Congress increased the sentences for dealing and possessing crack cocaine. And in a few years, enhancing law enforcement presence loomed over and aggressively policed communities of color. Whereas this day, these laws greatly target communities of color. Targeted.
That means they purposely did these things to your sons, i.e. daughters, i.e. fathers, i.e. mothers.
Threat of direct coercion wars.
Right. So let's just get that clear. And ain't this the same thing they're doing
unlawful
to Jamal?
Arrest, Morris.
Yeah. Ain't this the same thing they're doing to Jamal right now?
Hey, that's what we gonna get into it. I wanted to cycle y'all in to the drugs, through the drugs, because basically this is affecting our interstate black communities right now. And y'all say we bang on y'all all the time. Okay. Listen here, we're gonna show y'all what they're doing to y'all, what they have on the record for y'all to be subjugated by. All of our brothers still are comfortable with calling themselves black. This is what they have on the record for y'all. we want y'all to know because we still love y'all. It ain't no hate. I just snapped on the Moor the other day, but he was asleep more. And the fact that he was holding some information about why he got pulled over, but it made me mad as hell, bro. I snapped on this more, and I totally lost my sense of like what I was trying to do and impart knowledge to this bull. So I had to give him a couple just simple facts of what's going on, and then reverted it back to you can study this or not, but it's only 3 facts instead of me snapping on you.
Right.
But this ties it all in. That's for another. That's for private conversation I had probably in the panel. But this for the whole discussion of right now with Jamal, we wanted to bring up something that was very prevalent in our so-called community of people that amongst us that are still asleep, calling themselves black. The war on drugs, which is secretly the war on blacks, which they just said to y'all. Jamal is doing something called activity. He is being self-determined to create the first precipice of a Moorish militia for our people. Everybody has a problem, whether you're black, Hebrew Israelite, Indian, I don't care what you are when it comes to a belief, right? But when it comes to nationality, us Moors are trying to show y'all through one of our brothers that if y'all keep talking about y'all need a militia, where is the black militia? Once we start trying to create it, don't sit up there and side with the fake news when they go at our brother. Why don't you go with your brother who already got enough people going against him and support this brother because his moves make sense for all of y'all dark-skinned people if y'all ever want to train to protect your families. No? Am I going too deep, too real? Is it too much? We not all Moors. What does protecting your families have to do with being a Moor, right?
Well, what does just protecting your family in details? What that sound to you? You know what I mean? And as far as people predicating as being black, Negro, colored, African American, or whatever the case is, which we already know that's not fact of who you are. So we're just going to look at that from that lane and see what it is that our people do not understand and what the prevalence of their ignorance is not letting them see. Another brown man, another man, period. You see what I'm saying? Doing something that is righteously and his right and our right because he represents us as a whole too. Because, like I said before, what did he do to have a standoff for 6 hours or however the case may be? Did he kill or injure one of your policy enforcers? Because if that was the case, right, and he was really out here to cause some type of harm, you know what I mean? When he would have just him and his lewd assailants would have just or these 11 estranged men, you know, trying to do terroristic acts when they already off him, when they already take care of the job. You know what I mean? And then it would have been a real standoff or whatever, however the situation is, or no standoff. You see what I'm saying? So these people already know what they're trying to do as far as subjugate Moors. Okay. This something that they're trying to do blatantly in the public view because they know a lot of our people is not into their nationality. They don't really have a full detail or real scope on what is all entail and what side they're looking in from it because there's a lot of propaganda out there against us, against Moors, okay, that's out here trying to live fallen humanity and be in righteous of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. So when other Moors that's not into protecting their family and exercising their constitutional rights and their unalienable rights and their birthrights, then something is wrong with them. It's something that they have to look within themselves and question themselves about. So that's why this event that we're putting out as far as on the platform to put out this information for our brother Jamal is because this is exactly what really is in detail. This is what really they're trying to cloak and dagger us with. Okay, so if Moors don't get that, which is prevalent to our movement, Moorish National Divine Movement, all right, then you need to go do some more studying on RV Bay publications and really get astute to the Constitution and really study that and get you an organic Constitution and study it, because you have to be, privy to this knowledge so you can get a full, detailed perspective, and the information, you can look it up for yourself. That's why we are doing this presentation right now. So
Sure.
I want to
Real
go
quick,
ahead and yeah, go ahead.
whoever said the media journalists were law?
Oh, they're not law.
Oh, right. So when they come on and speak upon an open situation, why are people sitting there listening to them like they ever told truth to you? You hear me? Right?
They never tell truth. Just like the 9/11 incident, they use CGI.
Right. There was no planes.
It wasn't no
planes.
It was no planes. None of that. So if y'all want to really get technical, you know what I mean, and y'all want to call us conspiracy theorists and all this, that, and the third, I don't care, because what facts is and what truth is lay there for you to go research and get your own perspective. You know what I mean? But go ahead, more.
2001 happened to be the year that they perfected CGI. Remember, Morris, 1999 was when the Matrix came out and they showed you the bullet freeze frame technique, like where he was dodging the bullets. That was a new CGI method, and where Trinity jumped in the air, and they were doing a lot of crazy stuff in the Matrix, right? Green screen went crazy. They learned how to digitize it into CGI. Notice how after the Matrix came out, they left from the analog to digital technology. So all our grandparents and parents were now watching digital TV opposed from analog. And they showed you the most hoax attack on our land that ever happened. I'm talking about buildings got blown up into dust. I never seen sorcery like that, to where they made a building, 2 buildings, made of complete titanium alloy, turn into dust. You hear me? How? Yeah. There were no planes to hit that. You're looking at a demolition. But we follow this last fact in here into this so-called war on drugs apology that says, whereas today these laws greatly target communities of color, dramatically increasing the incarceration rate for these communities and imposing a stigma that communities of color are a main user of drugs, despite white communities or white Americans using drugs at a similar, if not greater rate. So why I pulled that up is to show you that there's a certain preference when it comes to who is allowed to practice certain rights and who isn't. Like, so when we take those same thing that we just read about the war on drugs and how, Europeans are allowed to, they get looked over. How do you think it plays out when it comes to practicing or training in the woods or in a private location? We know the Michigan militia and all these European groups. Why are they allowed to go and do all this? How come the NRA and everybody's allowed to set up their whole situation? But when Moors are trying to do it in the middle of the night, outside of everybody's goddamn notice and attention, the European cops or the so-called policy enforcers of Maryland, they make it a situation to where all the people traveling on the highway trying to get to work has to now look at the news to be put on to, it's the Moors that are blocking you, not the police that are stopping them when they didn't really need to.
Right.
So yeah, I just the double standard that exists in this whole paradigm is what I'm really that's what I'm really based upon with this.
Yeah.
But if you
And
see more in this right here, hold on, let me get this out here. This right here, we talking about Newsy, and we go in with sovereign citizens. When you go deeper into it, right here, they tell you that basically the main people who push that sovereign citizens are not people that help the government, but are people that are anti-government, the exact opposite of what the Posse Comitatus was. So the people that push that are the Anti-Defamation League and the Southern Poverty Law Center. I want to bring this really clear to y'all. How come the Southern Poverty Law Center has so many articles on every group? They never say anything about the Jewish mafia.
right.
This was part and parcel of the Italian mafia. If you watch any Martin Scorsese flick, who they killed because he dropped so much truth, he'll tell you about the connection with Jimmy Conway and Henry of the Jewish side of things, and then somebody like a Tommy who was supposed to be made because you could trace his bloodline back to Sicily. So the other two weren't Italian mob members. I mean mafia. They weren't Italian. They were Israel. They were the Jewish ones.
Yeah.
So to show you that there were a Jewish side of so-called mafia, but these people, the Anti-Defamation League and the Southern Poverty Law Center, who are both run by private Jewish attorneys, not any legislative lawmakers, private attorneys that are basing their stuff on civil rights, right?
Yeah. And
It's
then
all on the back of our people, right?
right. And
Just
then
don't know who they are.
yeah, because that's what they want to keep pushing. Civil rights, colorable law. You understand? So that's why what I mean, it's in order to be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process or of law. Okay, not shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. So that's in the Amendment 5. You see what I'm saying at the bottom of it. So if people don't understand what really took place here was kidnapping in the season of arms. You see what I'm saying? Because these Moors didn't do anything to anybody.
Oh my goodness. Oh, this is crazy, Mar. It's crazy. So we see how the Prince Hall Masons of the Southern jurisdiction under Albert Pike, they were trying to push this whole Masonic ideology of us, our people that were in the Southern jurisdictions, that we needed the Masonic temples to go through for us to gain political stance, right? Affiliation. These people that went against that, which is it's all in the Hegelian dialectic, so it's all connected, right?
Mm-hmm.
It says the sovereign citizens. Oh no, my fault. The Defamation League, Anti-Defamation League, and the Southern Poverty Law Center. Both groups predict growth is likely. Even knowing what to call them is challenging. In addition to sovereign citizen or sovereigns, you already broke down the meaning in the beginning. It's more self-determination, right?
Right. Self-determination, right.
Right. Followers go by constitutionalists. So people that's into the fold of the Constitution. How is that wrong? Right? Freemen. Right. They call our people freedmen, right?
Right.
But when they call us it's okay. But when people are moving in accord, they get labeled as freemen. This is funny.
Right.
What's the difference between a freeman and a freedman? Stupid. And a state citizen, Mark.
Right.
So AKA meaning you're a state citizen, not federal citizen, because when you have a 14th Amendment citizenship that prescribes you're tied to a land, it says that you're two citizens at one time, one state citizen and one federal citizen at the same time. How does that duality exist in the matrix of the mind of man unless you impose a 14th Amendment, which is not even ratified? How do we deal with this reality of subjugation that we face more?
Yeah, you said not ratified, right, More?
Mm-hmm.
So That's a sin di without day,
Oh,
without
oh,
without day, right? Without dismissal of, hence a final adjournment, final dismissal of a cause, quad not sine deny, that he go without day, the old form of a judgment for the defendant, right? I.e., a judgment discharging the defendant from any further appearance in court. So what they running here?
More, we talk about without any future date being designed or designated. So when we go back to the sin and DA, we go back to the date of the sin and DA, so we can really pull forth what happened. Okay, what the hell is this? A boot on the European's neck? Weird. We're not going to that. We want actual real stuff. I believe they have tapped into my feed and what I look at now. So stuff gets weird. Adjournment sin and DA. Without a day of returning. So this is when the original legislature, jump ship. But the thing is, when they do jump ship an original Congress, there's still a document which they have prescribed and signed, and everybody has, recognition to. This still exists. So let's go out of this. Sin and DA, we have an original Constitution. Let's do this. Original Constitution.
Right.
Constitution, right? When we type that in, we get the Articles of Confederation, the first Constitution, right? So that's what Noble Drew Ali was talking about, because this thing recognizes states as sovereigns.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Let me not lie more. I might be lying, because you know how these Europeans do. You're just making it up. If the news says it, it's all in the right. Okay, Constitution of the United States, 1787. No, you give me the damn Constitution instead of the Articles of Confederation. Don't play with me. Articles. There you go, right there. Articles of Confederation, history. Okay, Articles of Confederation written in 1777. More. That follows the first letter from Muhammad ibn Abdullah to the, answering their so-called Declaration for Independence. This is the histories we don't get to learn in school. That the Moors answered these people call for help, cry for freedom.
Yeah, the letter from George Washington to the Sultan Muhammad, Ibn Muhammad. You see what I'm saying? So, they got to look into that too. They have to research that, because that's like a whole nother class. We're trying to stay on point right here. So, go ahead, Warren.
Let me get out of here. They're trying to play music. Also, wait, I just want to go back down to this. Where are you even playing from? I can't even see where it's playing from. They're playing.
It's that Volkswagen. I think that's where it's coming from.
Yeah, they're drawn. Okay, so the main thing I wanted to get to is that treaty recognized the sovereign existence of the states and the so-called, in America. PDF it. All right, let me see this Federalist Papers. This should pop right up with no sound bites. All right, here we go. Meaning, no. Let's get to the first article. First article. The style of this confederacy shall be the United States of America, not the United States, not the United States of America, Inc., not the United States Corporation. The United States of America is the style, aka the name of this confederacy. What are people talking about United States for? Article 2. Each state retains its sovereignty, freedom, and independence in every power, jurisdiction, and right which is not by this confederation, aka the United States of America, expressly delegated to the United States. That's something different, right?
Right.
in Congress assembled, right? Delegated to these people, meaning you had to have a delegation of authority order
Yep.
from the United States of America, aka Congress.
Mm-hmm. And where is that, more? Where is that? I don't see one.
Oh. Well, let's pull that up more. These people. Delegation. Listen here.
Let me add this while you pulling that up, right? It says Hofner versus Hayes, 92, Okia, 32, 227, F 417. The courts are not bound by an officer's interpretation of the law under which he presumes to act. Owen versus Independence, 100 SCT, 1398, 445, US 622. Officers of the court have no immunity when violating a constitutional right from liability, for they are deemed to know the law. Okay? This means we, the people, must be busy about holding anyone to the law. We must uphold and enforce it ourselves so that we are not molested by any other citizens. That is why Prophet Noble Drew Ali said there is but one supreme issue, and that is to enforce the Constitution for the United States of America. Being aware that most do not know the law or case laws that support and enforce it, which were established prior by someone who did enforce it by them bringing a claim suit against those persons who violated it against them. This being done in disregard to the position they say they hold, most people have not generally enforced the law because the not knowing has placed them in a mental slavery, of which Noble Drew Ali, who was well versed in these matters, also made a statement that he has come to take you out of your mental slavery. It requires study, study, study in order to become knowledgeable and to be what you know, as you can only be what you know. Islam, more, you can continue now.
Islam, more. So you see me, right?
Yeah.
We talking about the IRS now. Now we didn't jump into where the business starts with this commerce, man. Every law, listen, more. Every crime is commercial. So if the board didn't commit a crime, but they're basing it off that it's supposed to be some crime thing, look at who's over it. Move content on the Internal Revenue Council or Internal Revenue Code authority previously contained in the delegation of authority, right? By Treasury. This is all about 1933 when they fell out, more.
Right.
They bankrupt. So
they solve it. They null and void.
So you can't take one of our Moors because you don't even have to. You can't afford it.
Right.
But you know, I did my due diligence. I got one of my aunts checking into that Moorish stuff. If any of y'all, I'm gonna put it into the chat. If any of y'all know of Juju, which is his wife, or Jamal and all of his
associates
with their names, please email me and the location he's at, email me, because I have situations where I'm trying to work with him or get some help for him. Now it's crazy because when I called up to Maryland, what was it, Wakefield? I called Wakefield County Precinct. They told me to call the state Maryland police, right? So I called them and they said, call the county, the situation happened in. I was like, wait a minute, ain't no situation. You seen the news this morning, right? He said, yeah. I said, you seen what happened with the Moors, right? He said, oh, the 11 people. Yeah, you already know what it is. Please show me where our member is kept. He said, oh, I can't more. This dude these people are running off the phone. So if y'all can help us, please, if y'all got any information, anybody that's tied into the rise of the Moors or that more directly, please send me email so I can give it to my aunt who has connections with, the subjugation of our people in jails, human rights councils and all that. So More if opposite is still in there, more you gotta take yourself off of mute. I'm not controlling the mute. You have to take yourself off if you want to speak. So we go back. Dang. Oh, we go back to the so-called internet, right?
Right.
Just to show y'all how these people playing and how it goes right into business. Let me see here. And it remind you, no laws were broken, commercial or statute. He didn't do anything. Islam?
Islam. And
Yeah.
yeah, man.
No laws got broke.
No laws broken at all. And
If you watch the news articles, they never say what he did wrong.
right. And no state, federal, or local government, can deny your claim of who you say you are. The corporate states are not only corporations, they are foreign corporations, which takes them on another level as far as them trying to interject themselves within your affairs as Moors, as nationals of the land, as people, as we the people, So, like I said before, the whole rendition on what they did is a crime in itself, okay? Because basically they staged their event, they made up propaganda, they scared these Moors probably to try to engage with these Moors, make it into a bloody event where they can try to inbox them and engage. They brought all their heavy tanks, like armored trucks. Like, how do these people have armored trucks like that, like in the city, and it's supposed to be like for the highways? You see what I'm saying? So that's right there in itself. We're not looking at what's really taking place here. Okay, these people brought out armored little conveyance like trucks, like fully equipped to engage these Moors.
So more
All right.
look at this thing. Look at how this works, right?
Yeah.
What I'm looking at right now is Title 27 of the Council of Foreign. No, sorry, I'm about to go into the other thing. The Code of Federal Regulations.
Mm-hmm.
Right, the Code of Federal Regulations, subsection 72.11. The meaning of terms, right? We go down to commercial crimes. Now watch this, Morris. This is crimes in this subject, right? Everything but murder they will list. This is a crime, right? So if all these crimes are commercial, then how are you not using contract law to get yourself out of the provisions they have against you? Because the only way you can commit these crimes is by your own admission of a sign of nature, aka signature, of a straw, or silence, an admission to guilt. So look, any of these following types of crimes, federal or state, offenses against the revenue laws, right? So any being in debt with some false pretense of a debt, right? Any tax law, if you ain't cleared yourself up, they make that a crime, right? Offense against the revenue laws, burglary, counterfeiting, forgery, kidnapping, larceny. So most of the things that the so-called people under the federal government law do to the so-called citizens, right?
Yeah, the same thing they trying to charge us with is the same actions that they take on to do us in with public opinion, of course.
More, they give you a document that's supposed to be a document that they say you signed, and it has anything that's not a wet ink signature on that line or any line that says signature. Okay, watch this. That's a forgery.
And not just that, Morris signed with their seal. So it's no signature.
We got autographs. More?
Yeah, we have autographs. We don't do
nature. So what? Why is that thing reprinted and then printed out? That's not my real handwriting. This is from a computer.
Right.
That right there can be
which is
held.
fraud.
And then let
Which
me
is
show y'all
fraud.
something. Let me show y'all a little secret. Now y'all see this, right? Look.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just run through them real quick. Burglary, counterfeiting, forgery, kidnapping, larceny, robbery, illegal sale of possession or deadly weapons, prostitution, including soliciting, procuring, pandering, white slaving, which is the transport of European daughters in the act of prostitution, right? Keeping house of ill fame, you dirty as hell, right? Bobby Hemmett when he was talking in the damn lecture with Khalid Muhammad, right?
Right.
Okay, and like offenses, extortion, swindling, y'all package selling damn dirty Moors, you are violating shit. I'm gonna show y'all what y'all violating: extortion, swindling, and confidence games, playing with the people's trust. Right? That's a crime.
That's a crime.
Attempting to commit. So even attempting to commit, conspiring to commit, or compounding any of the foregoing crimes in addiction to narcotics. Huh? You can't be no drug addict. And the use of marijuana will be treated as if such were commercial crime. So understand, Morris, you have to have your own laws based upon you being an indigenous aborigine to this land, that your ancestors already practiced healing techniques with these same herbs, fauna, flora. Never mind. Y'all go ahead and smoke y'all marijuana or marijuana, what the hell ever that is called.
Right.
Now, more, watch this. Let's go to the Moors stuff, right? This is CM Bay. We're CM Bay, right? We deal with the 6th article of the Moors Zodiac, and look what it says, Moor. Article 6, right? Go down to the bottom. It says, free Moors do not indulge in crimes such as cocaine, robbery, violent sodomy, deadly force, forgery, prostitution, right? White slavery, illegal schemes, or breaking peace in any form.
Right.
The zodiac law of nature is recorded in wisdom of women, the womb.
Yep.
Man, and supported by moral intelligence, right? The more of the owl of the night, aka your conscious mind, is awakened, right? And not sleeping in the night, but awakened to the present moon, right? The greatest law, all law, more, right? The mind,
all law.
Knowledge of zodiac masonry, not Freemasonry, but zodiac circle masonry, as shown in the Moorish Constitution, will prevent crime, you idiots. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Warning, a Moorish American cannot be convicted of a false accusation, framed up charges. The evidence against the Moorish American must be concrete proof beyond the shadow of doubt. The Moorish nation of 150 million, the United States of America, shall not be destroyed for lack of truth and knowledge in the law of the Constitution of the Moors, Islam, because therefore we see that our Moor didn't do anything, and they have to prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt, and they did not.
And they can't prove that, Moor. So that's what I'm saying. This is a whole fabrication. You see what I'm saying? That they are conducting. You know what I mean? Try to stir the natives, what they say, and really put down a real slander campaign against the Moor, like I said before. And then we have so-called Moors running around here that claim that they're Moors, but acting like Negroes, slandering the brother Jamal Bay. You see what I'm saying? With, they putting videos out. This is a sovereign citizen. Which, why are you using that term, Moor? Aren't you a Moor? Why would you call your brother a sovereign citizen, Moor? Ain't you supposed to be? Supposed to be stooped in the knowledge, Moor? I'm talking about Rami Salam. I'm not even going to give him the title of L. I'm not even going to give him that title because that title belongs to real Moor.
You just did it. Now we about to pull this subjugation of a Moor. Listen, we're about to pull it up because there is too many games being played. I don't want this book. I want to pull up another book. 77 facts. Look, I was typing him 77 facts. I'm gonna show you some. I'm gonna show you something real clear. This should have been clear to our Moors from the rip. I know they seen it, but they didn't say anything because they're trying to show love, right? Sorry, right? They don't want to show us it on that. Let's go to this. We got it. So all right. Look at this, Morris. Please look at this. I will zoom in so y'all can see. More, this book called The 77 Amazing Facts About the Moors with complete proof with Califio on the front, right? Written by G.S. Cujo Adwa L. Moors Science Temple of America, Subordinate Temple number 5, Toronto. Islam, right? Islam.
Right. Islam.
And then we got this. Hold up, G.S. Moore. This dude is a Grand Sheik of who? Who is the Grand Sheik of? IMHH Temple number 23, Oakland, California. More. Why does Cujo have the Moore Science Temple that he's repping? And why does this guy put the I Am Hip Hop Temple in front?
Because he's trying to rep a hip hop temple that he's trying to move, a movement that he's trying to start within the Moorish community and so-called Black community. You know, because they Moors too. You know, with his album and his you know, music, he tried to get out there and become some type of rapper guy, I guess, or a hip hop star guy. When that shouldn't even be your objective. Your whole objective is to put out the message on, you know, trying to get your people to understand who they are. You know what I mean? It's not about you're just out there to become this profession, because we all are Moors, and Moors have to be vanguards to our movement. So how are you going to let your hair down and just do hip hop, period? You know what I mean? And not still be active in this movement. So right there alone, you know what I mean? You contradicted yourself. You know what I mean? Right there alone, you know what I mean? I've been watching you and you remove your tassel from your fez. Like, you know what I mean? Like you wear that, you know, fez more than you wear your tassel fez. So I'm trying to figure out something.
So more, do you know down with the Supreme Grand Council that he was banging? We're like, oh, we got to return to Supreme Grand Council. So this website is the website of those Moors who turned the Supreme Grand Council into a church, and they never let y'all know that it's a church right now.
Right. Go ahead and reveal that.
People right here, Supreme Grand Council, right? I go back and I go to this. He said, let me go back. He said that he was Temple number 23 Oakland, California, right?
Right.
Let me show you who, since he want to be, the Supreme Grand Council. Let's look at the Supreme Grand Council's version of number 23. More is right here. New York City. Temple number 23, Grand Sheik Bro Shaquem Hugh Else. How come you haven't hit that more up about your, you know, trying to be Temple number 23 at Oakland? We go down and we see Los Angeles. He should be going to Temple number 43 if you want to be some Temple number 23, right?
Right.
He's sitting up here playing around. And look, I wouldn't even go to none of these Moors because I told y'all already, this Moorish group, all this, is a church at this point. We showed y'all that already.
And then look more. Go back for a second.
New Galilee Baptist and all that.
The crescent and the star, right? That one that the Nation of Islam, one that the Nation of Islam temple.
Wrong way, right? Like that.
In the wrong way. In the wrong way. Look at
wrong way. Like Oh well.
Just point that out too, more like, you know.
Oh well. Because we got the lunar eclipse coming in from the east.
Right.
Right. So this would make us in the west.
Right.
We're not in the west secret.
Right.
Europeans in Greco-Roman times created the Western philosophy, the Western science of our mindsets. We think we in the Al-Aqsa when we really in the farthest east, Morris. We are in the most extreme east, called the Akushamar, the Akshamar, right?
Yeah.
The Uakshamar.
The Uakshamar.
Right. Which means the land where the sun never sets.
Right.
Because it rises there, aka the east. This is the secret east, more. Sir Francis Drake can attest to that by his voyages through so-called Red Sea in California. Y'all don't know who Moab and Judah and all that, the 12 tribes is? Y'all don't get that yet? You don't
No,
get
they
what that,
don't.
that story
They
is
don't.
about yet?
They don't get it more. They take the allegory part and making it into something that's, you know, they don't get the whole insight of who they are as Yahudi. You know what I mean? As far as that perspective, you know what I mean? So they as far as Hebrews, Israelites, or whatever they want to call themselves, you know what I mean? That's a language. Hebrew is a language. So Israelite, you see what I'm saying? That's an allegory in the Bible. You see what I'm saying? Giving you a rendition on who and what people were in the Bible. So at the same time, when we look at certain things as a whole and really do studies, you see what I'm saying, and understand why our prophet said we were Moabites too. Understand that. So that's why you have to put together the research and go into adapt, studies and really piece things together so you'll have a broader understanding about what really had taken place as far as history and what had been changed. You see what I'm saying more? So when we tell these ones this, you see what I'm saying? They looking at it from, well, I never heard that before. You see what I'm saying? But you got to go ahead and start doing your own research and looking into
Yo, bro, what
yourself.
happened? What the hell happened, bro?
He stopped
I'll
using his
pull up. Y'all look at this picture. I'll pull it up. What's going on here? What y'all see? What y'all see, yo?
yeah,
Who in the back?
Taj.
Why you ain't continue it? Why you? Nah, I'm done with him. I'm
Why
done with
you
him.
ain't why you ain't still, coming to the lectures and still, studying with Taj and still studying with Morris? Why you just all of a sudden now so thirsty to slander your brother?
I'm done with him, more.
But that's the question that I'm asking though, more for all these other Moors that's
He
out there.
joined the temple, more obviously. He joined the dying temple to try to revert this whole subjugated thing that's been sold out to a church, right? He joined the temple and now he's doing their bidding for them, banging on who they don't like. But we come back into resurrect our brother Jamal from the dismal crypts of his character, and we give it its full life again. Look, Attorney General James files a lawsuit to dissolve NRA. So it ain't about the Moors, huh? How about these Europeans? Is even going against Europeans when it comes to carrying so-called firearms? Okay, so-called arms, and this is the National Rifle Association. These should be the most carrying legal people, lawful people in the so-called jurisdictions, right?
Right.
Obviously, no more. They getting their stuff dissolved because they're getting sued by a New York's Attorney General.
You know why? I know why. I know why they getting sued. Do other boards know? Do other people know why they getting sued? I think you should explain that to them more. Islam
more. So they want to make it seem like that in these so-called states, when it comes to them subjugating y'all rights and giving y'all a foreign government that's doing business with China, who secretly put a fake disease out amongst our people to force our people consciously to go take a vaccine that kills them. That they have already showed that the Johnson and Johnson, the Pfizer, and the Moderna vaccines are killing our people. They also have made a holiday called the celebration of Juneteenth, right around this date, which celebrates and gives understanding that COVID is more highly of affecting the black communities. What the hell is black community? Okay, the so-called dark-skinned people, the Moors, the indigenous. They saying that we're suffering from COVID. At the same time, they're saying that we're attacking Chinese people, and we hate Chinese people right now. At the same time, Chinese people invented the COVID disease. So how are we suffering from a foreign disease from China more than the Chinese people? And how are we the ones that are attacking Chinese people physically in discrimination? Doesn't make sense more. They're throwing so many stories at our people.
It sounds like a play for China to come over here and take over things more. That's what it sounds like.
A. A. Outlines of dozens of examples.
I'm gonna throw this out here again. They said the Democratic Party just been announced for doing something shiesty.
What happened?
Well, they say that they try to rig certain election polls, against so-called black people.
Oh,
What I said, Stacey Abrams supposed to have been, part of that, and y'all good political black leader.
so basically, our people voted for Trump and they subjugated it.
Yeah, basically.
Now, people that still vote, we don't vote as Moors, but y'all people still vote. Do understand that Trump was going in. That's why all these Europeans are against him, like it's no tomorrow. They took his Twitter away. I mean, when have you ever even heard of such from a president? But no, they won't say treason. They won't say. They're saying that Trump is more racist than Biden. Stop it! I already played him last week when he was bombing all over the place.
Yeah, we already scimitar that subject. Like, show enough, just chop that all the way down. So, for this episode, we're asking Moors that's in the chat, what I mean, or have any questions that they want to add or whatever. I know Kasir will feel freely to let y'all in to have any type of rebuttal that y'all feel that y'all need to rebut.
Oh,
because
please, we do not block the comments of anybody that wants to speak. We don't block these comments. And Islam, Albacet, if you want to unmute yourself, if you got something to say, you are freely available.
Islam no more. Islam more.
Islam.
All right, yeah, we got you clear now, more Islam.
Yeah, all right. Let me get through my 5 sentences for a moment.
You good?
I think you already covered it up. You already uncovered it with this presentation. So most of for knowledge, I'm already familiar with. So for the unconscious most, it's a good start, but I also recommend them to visit RPB publication.
Oh yeah.
For the starters, there's the greatest university for Moors online.
This is an example of what this Moor is speaking to y'all about if y'all have never been to the website. This is rvbaypublications.com. You see all the side tabs here that you can click on and do your own research for yourself, right? If y'all never seen this website, this is it, right? I got another website for y'all. If y'all got rvbaypublications.com, right? Watch this one. Because this Moor, he actually makes his stuff kind of more, palatable for every, people that's considering themselves indigenous. What about this website? What about this Moor?
Oshango L. That's the Moor right there.
Oshango L.
The El Karat of the Moorish world order of navigators and mound builders. Inalienable rights we trust, huh? The Project WOM code, weapons of mass color of law destruction. You have to see. Look, Kraken, right? Documents 33 to 34, codename Kraken. Watch this. This is to tie people into what we're looking at right here when this Moor does this stuff. Kraken, right? Bank Shori or Kansu, right? What a bank. Moore's got a bank. Watch this, Morris.
Mm-hmm.
People playing with us, bro. Like it's some type of debate or fight. We already got everything we need is already on record already. And it's been that way for years. It's just that I guess people don't want to give credence, which is odd. So
We already know why,
why.
Mark. You know what I mean? We already know why they don't want to give credence. We already know why it's such an alarming rate that Moors are coming in within their nationality. And we already know why that they are at Jamal, brother Jamal, the way they are. And need you not, you know what I mean? I want to give a prayer out to his empress and his newborn, you know what I mean? Because I know they're probably going through,
Yeah, wow.
some things that
That's noble.
put them in an uncomfortable situation right now. So, people got to be mindful about certain things that and certain interactions that we on a daily basis as a people have to suffer in the hands of the policy enforcers. See what I'm saying? So, that's another thing too that, nobody really takes the time to really think about. You know what I mean? Which we know some people do and some people don't. They really don't care as long as they're not affected by it and they can keep on handling their daily activities without any interruption. They, good or whatever at the end of the day. And that's like really selfish. You know what I mean? Because people really need to understand and what really is taking place here. So
look, Mark, this is the Second Amendment. People try to make this thing a argument because they say, does it mean a right for individuals, or is it just specifically based on militia? In this case, it don't matter because Jamal would be our militia. So it don't matter. A well-regulated militia, Jamal and all of them is competent in law, more than any of these police policy enforcers. So yeah, they're well-regulated, right? Being necessary to the security of a free state. Yes, they are necessary for the security of the society calling itself the Moors, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the right of these people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Why did they infringe it? Huh? So y'all violate the Second Amendment right in front of our faces. And then when it's only when it's our people, the dark-skinned people, is it overlooked and thrown into all this people laughing? Our people that look like us is laughing more. Oh, look at the package sellers. What the hell does this man that is trying to practice and enforce the Moorish military or the so-called dark-skinned military that all y'all be looking for every time somebody get infringed and then violated? When he's trying to do it in the best way, why do y'all see it in such a negative way and to tie it in to something that's such a non-reality?
Right.
You don't see what this man is doing? So when are y'all ever going to buck up and get y'all damn military? Because obviously this Moore is showing you it's not going to be that easy. But y'all want to hate.
And,
so we
want to be real critical on things that they dare not to do.
Mm-hmm.
So how do that makes you feel individually, and what makes your character better than his, since all these people want to have something to comment and laugh about, let's stick to that. All these laughs. What's so damn funny about being kidnapped and taken away from your family for exercising your rights?
Yeah, how's
how that's funny?
I think our people don't realize what side they on, regardless of what you tie your personal beliefs into. If somebody who looks like you is being taken away from other people who called you so many different versions of yourself, that you can be regarded as the guy who just got took, regardless of what you call yourself. For you to go against the guy who just got took by the foreign party, you are that's treason against your own nation, bro.
That's treason
and then
against
to act like the only nations that exist is the nations that those people sit up there and recognize. It's
and
not about
told you.
recognized, more. It's about acknowledged.
Yeah,
Huh?
that's who they told you that you were, and they acknowledged. You know what I mean? So that means that's going a part of their narrative.
Yeah. So
Oh,
more
okay.
watch what Toriano's talking about when they come to us putting on a record who we are. Because everybody got, the arguments about the DNA and the blood and all that. But I'll go into this Morris document just to simply show y'all where he's coming from. And you can't find none of this on those 23andMe. It's deeper than that. Watch this. Facts of blood / DNA / scientific proof as provided by genetic research conducted by me, for me, by independent geneticists and researcher Tyrone Lewis Cannon and myself through www.23andme.com. Not just that, but also www.jedmatch.com. Not only that, www.isogg.org. Keep in mind, not only that, www.phylotree, PHYLOTREE.org, and Snipedia.com. So SMPEDIA.com. These are all geneticists or genetic websites, minus 23andMe. The rest, like GEDmatch and all them, are what you take your raw data from the consumer-based test, and you put your information in those, and they break down the fake test, being the consumer-based entertainment version, to what your genome really reflects. So what do we have right here? It says, history / archaeological fact and law, as well as other points, will be presented as to where these must be rebutted point for point in fact and law, and upon failure to respond to rebut point for point in the time frame allotted and in the manner deemed, then the demands under remedy in law and equity must be executed. For remedy is an unalienable right, as guaranteed by law. All men shall have a remedy by due course of law if a remedy does not exist, right? Or if the existing remedy has been subverted, then one may create a remedy for themselves and endow it in credibility by expressing it in their affidavit. Written, right? See Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition, 1968, right?
Mm-hmm.
And more got the receipts, right? When the
Yep.
law gives anything, it gives a remedy for the same. Ubis jus ibi remedium. Where it is a right, there is a remedy, right?
Right.
So lex semper debit remedium. The law will always give a remedy. What? Equity suffers not a right without a remedy. Bouvier's Dictionary of Law, 1865, Maxims of Law, aud remedio destitulor ipsa revelet si copa absit. Now it's funny, absit, we got absit on the line, but absit. What is without a remedy is valid by the same itself. More?
Right.
If it's valid without the remedy, it's valid by itself.
So
this is showing you that if our brother was Jamal was out there stating his right to travel on those highways by uniform commercial codes. I mean, my fault. United States codes that they recognize.
Right.
Then there should be no problem. He's doing everything. What law did he break? And all of this, the maxims of law, he's also embodying. A sumio remedy, there can be no recourse, going back, to an inferior action nor assistance derived from it. A maxim in old law or real actions, when there were grades in the remedies given, the rule being that a party who brought a writ of right right?
Right.
Which was the highest writ of the law, could not afterwards resort or descend to an inferior remedy, aka inferior court. Equity suffers not a right without a remedy. You hear me? Why
Yep.
is he speaking so clear when it comes to our nobility? And other Moors and other dark-skinned people are acting like this is but a joke. This is but made up. It's a joke and unreal, like the prophet said, right?
Right. It's a joke and unreal, but it is real. As real as a snake will, come in your home and bite you if it's poisonous. So
More you can see where I'm highlighting.
yeah.
Read that so we can show that our brother ties in the prophet after he gives us what we need. Go.
Well, it's not. You got to blow that up, brother, so I can see it because it's like real small on the screen.
You can see it now. Oh,
got to do it again.
Why do they play with us?
I don't know. And you already highlighted it in blue.
Why they playing?
It don't even want to blow up now. Look at there.
Wow. The more I go up, the more it stays the same. Something's weird. Okay. So since y'all want to play games, I'll just read it because they're playing games more.
Right.
Obviously, we're not allowed to let everybody read it. This is holy smokes, right? All on a damn holiday. Here it goes. Where was I at? Okay. Noble Drew Ali's divine instructions as they relate to the application of truth, which is the second principle of the five Moorish principles: love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, based upon the coordinates with my ancestors. Moorish genealogy? No, you had to do it. You got to do your own genealogy so you can know who you are and prove it. Forget all this stuff. Prove that your ancestors was mislabeled.
Right.
That means every one of our ancestors, if they got black, which they do, because when they started these censuses, everybody was listed on the census, this dark skin, as black or Negro. I got my damn ancestors documents. I can pull it up right on the screen if y'all want. Y'all have to do your ancestry, bro. You have to do your genealogy so you can tie in that you are the ones that was the indigenous on this land. Your family, not even some other stuff. What Noble Drew Ali brought was to open up the fact that our families right now today, our families are the people that's indigenous to this land.
Right.
Forget the names that they call them. The fact is, you're dark skinned and you were from here, not brought here from Africa. Period.
Right. And let me add this too, about the policy enforcers. Right. It says right here in Black's Law, principal office. The principal office of a corporation is its headquarters of the place where the chief of principal affairs and business of the corporation are transacted. Usually it is the office where the company's books are kept, where its meetings of stockholders are held, and where the directors, trustees, or managers assemble to discuss and transact the important general business of the company. But no one of these circumstances is a controlling test. See Jossie versus Georgia, and ARY 102 Georgia 706 28 Section E 273 Middletown. Ferry Code versus Middletown. 40 Connecticut 69. The Relone Star Shipbuilding Code. CCANY 6F2D 192 186. Synonymous with principal place of business, being the place where the principal affairs of a corporation are transacted. Foreman clerk, MFG Code versus Battle, 135, MISC representative, 759 211, New York State, 602 604. And then it says public office, the right, authority, and duty created and conferred by law by which for a given period, either fixed by law or enduring at the pleasure of the creating power, An individual is invested with some portion of the sovereign functions of government for the benefit of the public. Walker versus Rich, 79 California. Apparently, APP 139, 249, page 56 and 58. An agency for the state, the duties of which involve in their performance the exercise of some portion of the sovereign power, either great or small. See, so they have to, for them to be doing these provisions that they're enacting, you know what I mean? You have to be doing it under the Constitution because that was what gives you a afforded right to do so. So if you're not conducting yourself within that business, what are you doing? Aren't you invoking terrorism, domestic terrorism upon the people?
Yep.
I just want to add that right there more.
And then it says right here, more. Look at how this works. We tie it all in how Brother Toriano did it. It says in the past and present, several public officers, agents, and employees of the corporate United States democracy and the corporate 50 state democracies have been or are members of the Western Freemasonry, ancient Arabic order of the Nobles of the Mystic Shrine, the Order of the Eastern Stars, the Daughter of the American Revolution, the Daughters of the American Revolution, and other secret societies. I like to add in like Prince Hall and Sigma Pi Phi, the Boule, right?
W.D. Du Bois, them dudes that came from that era.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
MLK and all them.
Okay.
And then the other ones like Garvey and all them that came through, and Garvey and Pleckler that came through the African Lives #1, Prince Hall type stuff.
Right.
Yeah. So, and are now hereby called upon to bear witness and adhere to this truth and to not be hypocrites of what they know to be the truth, for some have given public and private oaths upon the Holy Bible and the Holy Quran, and or ceremoniously invoke the name of the Most High Creatress and Creator of the heavens and earth, known in the ancient ancestral tones as Yahweh, Odulamare, Amen, Allah, and others. Allah, Manat, and Al-Uzza, right? But called in the masculine God, in the Anglo-Germanic tongue, as Caucasian Europeans understand the divine to be, and are hereby charged with the knowledge that those who conceal what they know to be the truth invokes the wrath of the Most High Creatress, Creator of the heavens and earth, which shall not pass them. So I just dipped out of that more. Y'all know what's on y'all, so I skip past this because more it's getting late. I just want to wrap this up because
that should be enough scimitars for the night. You know what I mean?
We got right here for these Moors. This is for y'all to go look up so y'all know y'all got rights on your own. United Nations Declaration of Rights of Indigenous Peoples. This is the Indigenous Peoples federal doctrine. So you don't need to follow no federal 14th Amendment because that's not even ratified. Look to this, which gives you the option. Wait a minute, when I get down to it. This gives you the option, which should be made present to all of our people, that, wait, it's here, it's, what article do they have this as? I think I passed it already. But this these documents recognize you as you have the right to proclaim your nationality. I have to get to that. No forcible removed, so you can't be taken out of your territories. You have the right to belong. Where is the article? Rights to life, yeah. Right to maintain strength. right to self-determination. So this is actually the definition for sovereignty, right? Self-determination. So in the United Nations, so-called, oh, here it is, more Article 6.
Okay.
Every indigenous individual has the right to a nationality. So it's funny because in the federal, aka international rights declarations, you have another Declaration of Rights for the American citizens, the American Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous People, right? With the Organization of American States. This has the same exact privilege or a thing in it, not privilege, the same exact right inside of it, which recognizes the nationality of our people. For this to be a reality, why don't they ever give any credence to this? Right there, self-identification as an indigenous peoples will be a fundamental criterion for determining to whom this declaration applies. So it's on you to self-identify yourself as somebody that's indigenous, or you won't be able to, they won't recognize you under them.
And that's plain hardcore facts.
Direct. Yep. You can't be genocided out. This American one is a little deeper than the United Nations one. It talks about a little bit more of what you can do on your land to protect your land, or train if you wanted to on your land. What that brother was doing was nothing wrong. He's indigenous. He's not black. He's not sovereign citizen and all these words y'all make up, because we already broke that down with the Posse Comitatus, what it was in the first place. And hold on, let me skip this more. Hyphenated Americans, you get Americans are proud of the nation or whatever. So the whole thing is basically, if you have a hyphen in between your nation and American, that gives you your nationality.
Right.
People that have half, they're really stateless in this land.
Right.
So hyphenated American. What type of American are you? Right here, we got it right here. You see the hyphen more? With RV Bay?
Yep.
With Resolution 75. Hyphen right there. Moorish hyphen American. So we hyphenated Americans out here. Meaning we have affiliation with America, but we also have an origin and an ancestry that predates America.
Yep. That predates the forming of America, before the colonies even started calling this land, our ancestral land, America. Okay, which out of respect to Moors. See what I'm saying? Once you break the etymology down of America, So this, all I can tell Moors is to study, and a state's jurisdiction and a local municipality jurisdiction is quasi-national. Okay, so Moors that's Aboriginal and indigenous to this said land, you see what I'm saying? They have rights, unalienable rights, that these corporations that's calling themselves government and calling themselves policy enforcement, highway, etc., all right, are violating indigenous people's rights. So we're gonna put that out there too.
Well, they got an authenticated PDF of Title 29 from Delaware that lists the Moors as their de jure selves. Now watch this. Look. Lene Lenape, the first tribe, the Treaty of Fort Pitt, which is also called the Treaty of Alliance, because it's the treaty that actually cured the French Indian Wars. Let's deal with it.
Let's deal with it.
The Franco-American, all of that stuff. The French, in that regard, was the Indians at the time, but we'll deal with it because people was fighting on both sides.
Right.
The tribe was formerly known as the Moors. Why is that so hard for them to accept, bro? Like, we bring stuff to show it. It shows it, right? And they want to argue. Okay.
But see, that's the incompetence, and that's the how can I say, indoctrination that our people, and the influence that our people have to go through on a daily basis, as far as get along. You know what I mean? That's what a lot is going on and taking place You see what I'm saying? Within our own community too. You know what I mean? So we have to make things clear, you know what I mean, and clairvoyant, you know what I mean, not clandestine, because these Moors already made a mockery, you know what I mean, out of certain Moors that's out here standing on love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. There's no
And
hate.
I know they love this one more. This is the one we always go to this one, but we got to show it like just so they can see that we're not making nothing up. This is on the record of your own people that y'all want to recognize patents from. Will recognize what they say aside from the patents too. The splendid deserts between the nuances or the nueces and Bravo rivers are the natural boundaries between the Anglo-Saxon and the Mauritanian races. So all this happens in Mexico, right?
Right. Which is a Mexican.
Belongs to the Moorish people and their Indian associates, to whom Mexico probably belongs, right? And let's look at how they separate another group of people. They specify the African race may have a chance in Texas or neighboring Morocco. Well, why are they talking about Mexicans having a chance in neighboring Mexico, if the Moroccans and Indians or the Moors and Indians owned Mexico at the time?
Right.
Y'all got a chance because y'all not from there. This shows the Mauritanian races and the Moors and the Indians are not African.
Right. And they've been here, exactly, more. So we killing the debate. You know what I mean? Moors can sit up there and try to challenge us and try to go back and forth with us, but we're just gonna look at you and laugh. You know what I mean? Because that's just a waste of energy. And I can't blame you for not resonating with what we are telling you, because you're not you're not studying. That's the only way that we can really, you know what I mean, get across to you, unless you are really being about your research and being astute, you know what I mean, and researching from a perspective of, okay, let me see what these Moors are saying. Let me try to prove them wrong. Or let me see if they right. Let me see if they're right. Or however you want to look at it. Just do the research.
So more look at how when you go to the list of organized or members of states of organized American states, like the members that are members with these organized states people, they got observers. And Morocco is one of the observers. Why is that important? Because we go to the letter from George Washington to the Sultan, and it right here where it lists America as Morocco's dominions before it was called America. So America's Morocco.
So if America is Morocco's dominion, what do that mean? Let's put that in plain English and layman's terms more.
Yeah. So
what does that mean?
The encouragement which your majesty, being the majesty of Morocco, the Emperor Sultan Morocco, has been pleased generously to give our commerce, meaning the commerce with the United States, with your dominions. Okay, if the United States set up a so-called 13 states in America, what dominions were they in? You know, they like to use the word King's Dominion, right? That whole that part, King's
Dominion. Was in Morocco's dominion.
Hey. So that means they were in the dominion right now. They were in the dominion of commerce. These people was crying. Look right up here. We greatly regret our hostile disposition of those regencies toward this nation. We have never injured them. It is not to be removed on the terms of our power to comply with. So they're talking about not removing the ancestral markings, right?
Yep.
They were talking about with our territories, there are no mines. Talking about over there in damn Britain somewhere. Whether gold or silver. They ain't had no gold or silver over there. And this young nation, talking about America, the so-called dominion of the Sultan of Morocco, just recovering from waste and desolation, that's a code word for Moors, right? In a long war, have not as yet had time to acquire riches by agriculture and commerce. We only let them know about the corner of this place. We didn't let them know about the whole thing. 13 colonies. You ain't even allowed into the West. You don't know about the rest of the whole continent. He thought it was 13 colonies.
Mm-hmm.
What about South America?
Yeah,
What about the Conjoining Islands? What about west part of North America?
and then let's talk about the jurisdiction thereof now in Washington D.C. when you look up Morocco.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Show that to them more before we wrap everything up. You know what I mean?
Watch. I'll open it up in a new window and I'll type in. What did I type in? I gotta look through my dang joints. What did I type in before? I typed in. Oh man.
Jurisdiction of Morocco in the United States.
Organization of American States Morocco. There it go.
Yeah.
That's what I typed in.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And we look over to the right. What you got? Is Africa?
No.
Okay.
It says what it says. Blow that up more if you can.
Organization of American States is talking about the eclipse around the area of the territory of the White House.
Yeah.
Right? Why is that important? Because you deal with Morocco, right? The capital. So Morocco is a French word. The capital is the Casablanca, which means White House, but Casablanca is a Spanish word. When you deal with America, you deal with the Spanish and French land grants that opened up the doorway for English to prescribe their capital from Philadelphia to Washington, where the capital is symbolized by something called the White House. Right. Which, if they said in Spanish, like Noble Jolly told us to learn that language, we call it the Casablanca.
Yeah,
like
the Casablanca Alhambra, the Casablanca Alhambra, right?
Oh, right. The White House, Red House.
Right.
Mm. So what's the Blue House? Red, white, and blue. Since they want to play that, we dealing with the Blue House is the Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
Mississippi, the dividing of so-called Morocco. So Mississippi is the Ethiopia.
Right. Well, the Ethiopian
with the dividing
demarcation line.
Yeah, of America, right?
Of America.
So once we understand, we can take it and freak it of what was left for us into different things. So we see observed. We just seen that Morocco observes the American states. So right here in the treaty, it goes all the way back to the treaty before all the other nations. That this treaty with us is to be observed in just and generous measures taken in the case of Captain Proctor and impressed by the United States to confirm their respect for the attachment to your Imperial Majesty, Islam. So we recognize them and observe them, and it's still present today when you look at the Association of American States with Morocco being an observer. Don't get caught up with 1956. That all can get explained. This one right here, that was the 1789 when they first got the Constitution framed. This is the 1791 when they started the Constitutional United States Corporation. It says, "This will be delivered to your Majesty, our faithful citizen Thomas Barclay, whom I have consul for these United States in the dominions of your Majesty."
Of what, your Majesty? Yeah.
So Thomas Barclay.
Where's the dominions? So where's the dominions at? More. Let's clarify that. Where's the dominions at? Whose dominions they're talking about?
For the United States.
Okay.
And then in the dominion of your Majesty, that's America, because we look at the one that came a couple years before this, where it confirmed that.
So that's Morocco again.
Written in Philadelphia, more. They talking to the damn Sultan in Philadelphia, and when we say it, they're like, no. And then look at the last part, more. First day of March in the 15th year of our sovereignty and independence. So they can have sovereignty. Moors can't F out of here when we was the ones that gave them the letters.
Gave you and recognized you as a nation, because you're not Christians. You are Muslims that predicated from Muslims. We just gave you your salvation so you can identify yourself as a nation.
So look, more, look at the stupidity. Look at the stupidity. Watch how we kill them. Hernan Cortez, this guy, right? So-called, supposedly, this guy, mind you, he was dark-skinned, so he didn't look like this. So Hernan Cortez supposedly conquered Cuba now, right? He left from United Kingdom, aka Spain and all this stuff, all the way over to here, Cuba, right? But wait, they had recognition, but Morocco. So how come they ain't just go down here?
Yeah.
They went all the way over here, but the
Right.
Morocco guy said the Dominions. You don't think Morocco was over here at the time? And
Oh,
and
that
Spain and
that
France was over
Morocco
here at the
wasn't
time?
that Morocco wasn't born yet. More.
Exactly,
That
1956.
Morocco wasn't born to 1956, so it
So it
couldn't
had to be
exist.
over here.
Yeah.
Okay, so watch how crazy it gets. They're lying about where Hernan Cortez went. Because look, the Bermuda Triangle. What's
Yeah.
it covering? More Cuba.
Cuba.
So how
Yeah.
did Moore get there from up here if he had to cross the Bermuda Triangle, which was blocked?
He would have been lost. He would have been gone. He would have been swallowed up.
Exactly. He dropped his ship. So
Yeah.
get that out of there, Hernan. You get out of here. You see the Bermuda Triangle. You see the physical world. How did these people get past the goddamn Bermuda Triangle? Get it out of here. Get it out of here. Now we deal with this Southern Poverty Law Center, this fucking 501c3
organization.
Oh, wait, watch this more. They base their studies in white supremacy, right? Let's look.
Yeah, and not just that. Let me add this: they are with the bar attorneys, the bar association. Oh, yeah. Go proceed more.
With the bar attorneys, because they're attorneys. And this brother right here, Joseph J. Levin Jr., he worked with the CIA, FBI, and NSA, and military intelligence functions. So this guy is an intelligence agent. Oh, we already know you can't be trusted for information. You can mix it up if you feel free.
Mm-hmm.
Look at more. Look. Who we dealing with? This
Jesuits.
Is why when you look on a defamation,
Jesuits,
right? Jesuits with the caps, with the small hats, right? No feathers, but small hats.
Yeah.
When you deal with them, that's why when you deal with the see, look at both wearing Jewish skull caps, symbolic of their deepest loyalties. Not nationality, not religion. Their loyalty, because it's an order. It's not a religion. It's not a goddamn way of life. It's not a nationality. It's an order. It's a loyal order of an order of brotherhood.
Another secret masonry. Another secret society. More. Oh, okay.
Small hats are part of a secret society, and look. They fund these groups like, look, attorney Morris Dees, co-founded so-called Southern Poverty Law Center, right?
Mm-hmm.
With his homie Joseph J. Levin Jr., right? So both of them also have hand into the Defamation League.
Defamation League? Wait a minute, more. Not Defamation League. Oh, okay. So
y'all can bang on whites. Y'all can bang on Muslims, but don't nobody better say nothing about the Jews, even though the Jewish mafia existed with and alongside with the Italian mafia. Go watch the Goodfellas, go watch the Casino, go watch all them mob movies that what's his name? Scorsese put out there for us. We can end the damn tape on this joint. Good. Y'all need to go watch Goodfellas.
Goodfellas. And then they had the Irish mob too. They had the Irish mob too, so we're just gonna interject that too. So people got to understand what the realm of politics and how these people became in the political positions that they are in today. Okay.
These two on the left, look on the right. Danny DeVito played Tommy, who was a Sicilian. These two on the side are so-called Jews. Henry was a Jew. And Jimmy Conway was a Jew.
Yeah.
So what are y'all talking about with how in the hell does the Anti-Defamation League and the so-called SCLC, if they want to talk about who's anti-government and all that and doing all this crime and how come they don't bring up the Italian mafia alongside of the Jewish mafia? Because they're part and parcel of the same people. They are
the same people doing business as. You see what I'm saying?
So we got the Jewish mafia up here telling y'all who is traveling and who's the sovereign citizen or not. But you're the Jewish mafia though.
That cleans yourself up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I ain't making it up more. Let's let them say it. Like, so it ain't just our stuff. Again, fair use. Jewish American organized crime. I'm not making it up. Look, Bugsy Siegel, huh? Not Bean Siegel. We name ourselves after
Bugsy Siegel.
Bugsy Siegel more.
Yeah.
Arnold Rothstein and all these people. founded by. So this is who your Jewish is, the Jewish mafia. How come the SPLC and the Anti-Defamation League never mentions them, even though they were alongside with the Italian mob and the Irish gangs right here?
Yeah.
Remember the 5 points? Paul Kelly's 5 points, gangs in New York?
Yep.
All up in there, the gypsies, the original.
Yep.
Gyp the blood, right?
Yep.
And
that's claiming gypsy blood is claiming Moorish. Those are Moorish ties, just like the mob is tied into the Moors too.
Yep.
As far as, we showed that in the last presentation. So that's why that's why these people operate the way they are, because our people don't want to, respect our mother and father like our prophet told us to.
Right. Oh man, it's like they in Muskogee goddamn territory talking about some militia. This is where this Michigan militia, derives this old organization from Sugar House Gang, Purple Gang, criminal mob of bootleggers and hijackers, right? And then the United States wanted to act like they was against bootleggers and hijackers, right? So the movie Life is completely opposite of what was really going down, because it was really Italians doing stuff. Y'all keep showing us look, all these brothers is criminals, bro. They got the numbers on them.
Yeah.
These is criminals right here.
Yep. All of them, those are all mug shots.
Yeah. With their hats. So they let them wear they goddamn subjugated derbies.
But they don't want to let Moors wear their national headdress when they kidnap them and stuff and take pictures, because that's another form of subjugation, and then that's our religious right. You're not supposed to touch our headdress at all. They're supposed to take it off. So that's a suit that can be sued and levied against. You know what I mean? Because that's why I love the prophet so much. He brought us our nationality, birthright, religion, and nationality all entwined into one. So what people don't get is that if you were real about your nationality and you were real about your people, you wouldn't take none of this as a joke.
So our brother, I want to see if we can get tape of him speak. Oh yeah, we can more. Let me deal with this. We can end this out with brother Jamal putting on the record what the hell was really going on out there, instead of all these people talking about what they think they seen. They ain't even gonna listen to the Moor say what he had what he was going through.
Right.
Let's do this real quick.
Yeah, because they need all these Moors that's laughing. I hope you give support to that Moor out there, since you want to laugh.
These people cowards, bro. I don't see it. Let's play this more. Hold on.
Okay.
Have a few Moors helping us, notifying their chain of command of what's going on. We're still here. We're still safe. The lieutenant has informed us that they're going to move some of their vehicles, and they're doing that now. It's cold out here, so I'm shivering. That's why I sound like this. We've been out here since about 2 a.m. It's about 4 a.m. So we've been out here since 1:53 a.m. It is July 3rd, 2021. We are in North America, Morocco. We are on the Interstate 95 near exit 57.4. The mile marker is right near this police vehicle, which they're going to be moving it soon, and I'll be able to walk up, because I don't want them to think anything funny. But in fact, I'll just show you for the record, because we already assured them that we're going to be peaceful, so that might not worry about. But the mile marker was right here. That's where we are. I reassured them that we are not sovereign citizens. I reassured them that we are not black identity extremists. I reassured them that we are not anti-police. I reassured them that we are not anti-government. I reassured them that these men here will not be pointing guns at them. I reassured them that we're trying to come to a peaceful resolution. I reassured them that I'm willing to give them any information that is necessary to ensure that we can come to a peaceful resolution, so that way they can issue a summons to us in court and handle this civilized. I've also specified how, according to the United States Supreme Court, Younger versus the state of Hawaii, the United States Supreme Court stated how the possession of a firearm is not a crime. It constitutes no offense, which means they have no right or authority to detain us. I also specified how, according to the United States federal law, we have the right to peaceful journey. So, with that being said, we should not have been detained here. We were not pulled over. We had stopped to fuel our vehicle. I'm going to show you for the record. I also have a body cam. It's still recording. My body cam is right here. The red light indicates that that's recording. Our vehicle is full of camping equipment, which supports what I said about how we're going to our private land to train, which is a Second Amendment right. I also specified how, according to the federal laws of the United States, peaceful journey, we have the right to travel as long as we're not making any unnecessary stops. I assured the police that we prepared for this because we prepared to abide by federal law, the federal laws of the United States, including the treaty laws of the United States. So I ensured them that we had planned to fill up these fuel tanks, which I'm about to show you right now, so that way we don't have to make any unnecessary stops, so that way we could have just passed through their state. They specified how they were trying to protect public security and public peace, and I specified how we were just traveling through. We weren't going to stop, and we weren't going to stop at any gas stations because that could have alerted the public, which is why we have the gas tanks right here and right here. So that way we can avoid having to stop at gas stations, so that way we don't alert the public, and there's no need for them to be here. But they're the reason why we're still here. We've been asking to go on our peaceful journey. Yeah. Yes, I do. I'm live right now. All right. All right. Can you hold this and just point at them? Yeah. Bro, it is cold out here. Just a reminder to all of everyone out there, we committed no crimes. They had no probable cause to stop us in the first place. And right now, here we are. I-95 North, mile marker 57.4, or 57.
More, you see a standoff happening?
No, I don't see any type of standoff. I don't see anything what they propagated through the social media or through, their propaganda platform, which is, the tell a lie vision. You see,
You see gun laws being broken?
No, I don't see anything like that.
So what's the problem?
It's actual footage, right? More like what really went down.
Did they took down more? Did they erase offline so nobody could see?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I just wanted to give people a little preview and an insight. And there was another video that the Moore had with Jamal where he specified that they're not anti-government, sovereign citizens, or black identity extremists. But I don't think because how can you keep calling them sovereign citizens if he said he's not one, when we got records of people like Timothy McVeigh where he actually admitted that he's a sovereign citizen, and that's where stuff started.
Right. And not just
that, version
they,
of like
they
going
need
against
to
government.
admit that they are really the real sovereign citizen, the policy enforcement. Like they are really the sovereign citizens, but they want to put forth what they are on us because we are the real sovereigns that gave them part and parcel of their sovereignty. You see, so that's why the Constitution said we the people. It didn't say the government. It didn't say ordinances. It didn't say policies. So that's something for Moors to really think about too.
Right. But more we already on 3:30 to 31. Like I ain't even planning to go on that long. We was really just supposed to do like an hour, but you know, because of the heart of this,
Right.
we had to go in deep. So I think Cujo going live right now, so that might be where everybody went. So we'll end this jump and I guess go over there and see what Cujo and talking about. But just for the Moors to know that we gave our own we put our own 2 cents into the matter of the subjugation of the rights and the deprivation of the rights of the Moors when nothing was done wrong.
Right. So on that note, Morris, we're gonna end this out, and we're gonna say, you know, we're giving the support to our brother Jamal and Bay, and his support to his family, and you know, we give honors to the Prophet and Islam.
Islam, Morris.
Islam.
Release this beat today.
Islam was